Please, please, please.
So maybe it's not after
way too much Sabrina Carpenter.
Sounds like somebody's got a 20-something daughter and girlfriend in his life right there. A little Sabrina Carpenter action.
All right, let's try the fray.
Okay, a little fray to end the show. Brought to you by our friends at Floribama one more time.
Yeah, again, Floribama's Bulls on the Beach. Do not miss this event if you have an opportunity. September 5th through the 7th. More than halfway sold out. They sell out every single year. Go to floribama.com. Get your tickets. Bring the family out to experience the ultimate adrenaline rush. 3 nights, live rodeo action featuring professional bull riders from all over the country. Portion of the proceeds of this event go to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Play us out of here, Rockstar. What you got for us?
We'll do a little sample. I found God on the corner of First and Amistad, where the West was all but one. All alone, smoking his last cigarette. I said, where you been? He said, go on, ask anything. Where were you when everything was falling apart? All my days were spent by the telephone. It never rang. All I needed was a call that never came to the corner of First and Amistad. Lost and insecure, you found me lying on the floor. Surrounded, why'd you have to wait? Where were you, just a little late? You found me.
Rockstar in the Floribama Lounge there. Do you have that guitar muted over there by chance on the
Oh, I did.
Yeah, play us out of the sweet little guitar.
I found... All right, we'll do this thing first. You should just told me. Interrupt me, guys. In the end, everyone ends up all alone, losing her, the only one who's ever known who I am, who I was, who I wanna be. No way to know how long she will be.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live daily show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At nextround.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting nextround.store.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours. Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I watched a ton of NFL exhibition this weekend. I know some of you did as well with your favorite teams. We'll talk about that later in the show. We've got a meltdown for the Braves. The Olympics wrapped up. College football gets even closer. All that coming up. Scrimmage intel from all around college football. So much to get to today. AP poll coming out. We'll start with that. That's not Lance. That's Emily Grace McWhorter right here.
Should have known that.
LT's on his way back from a trip with his son. He'll be back with us tomorrow. That's Ryan Brown. Jim Dunaway behind the glass. Rockstar's off today. We got a little Tyler running the board. Lunceford and Forrester on the back row and Taylor Korn handling everything social media-wise at Next Round Live, We'll start with the AP poll because it comes out a little bit later on today. For whatever reason, the media poll always gets more recognition than the coaches poll. That's fair over the years, right? I mean, it's crazy that the coaches know the sport, and coaches will tell you the media, they don't really know the sport. But the AP poll, the media poll, has always been more respected than the coaches poll because the media says the coaches can only see their teams. We see all of college football. We do this,
which is not entirely true, by the way.
It's not.
Yeah, but the reason that I like the AP poll better of the two, and I really don't care. The playoff poll now is the one that matters, right? But we don't get that till October,
right?
The reason I like the Associated Press poll is it will be released today, and in short order, you'll know where every voter voted. And in the coaches poll, you do not know that until the final poll, and I don't like that. I like the transparency of knowing, okay, you voted this team here. Back it up. Tell me why. Now, the coaches don't want to do that because the only time they can do that is in a news conference. The last thing you want is, let's go to Ryan over here. Coach, earlier this week you had NC State 13th. Can you explain that to me?
Really?
I did?
Really? Because I didn't do it. It was Josh down in the sports information office.
And I think that's the other thing is most people feel like the media relations director or the director of football operations or the analyst is the one that's actually doing the poll, and the coach isn't.
Which makes sense.
It does make sense, EG, because they're actually coaching a football team, right? The last thing I need to do is sort out 25 teams. And you voted AP.
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
Brown has voted AP. I voted in the AP before. Would that be something you'd want to do one day?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we could probably get that set up.
I know. Please let me know after the show if we get that going.
Yeah. So you would want to do it because I will tell you, my experience was it was okay. It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I would do it again. What about you?
Let me tell you what you would experience.
Okay.
Here's what you'd
Run me
experience.
through it. Run me through it.
You would experience. You'd sit down, and that top 10 you'd be done like that. You'd be like, this is going to be the easiest thing I've done. And then 10 through 15, you're like, boom, 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 boom. I need to put these teams right here. And then 15 through 25, you're like, holy crap, that team's going to be ranked? No, seriously. By the end of the season, you're like, I cannot believe I've got this team in my top 25. And then you go and like, okay, who else would the preseason's easy. It's as the season goes, you're like, I still can't believe I've got to vote on this team. Yeah. But I've got to have 25 of them.
MyBookie.ag chat room, promo code next round. AU Chase, you nail it, buddy. It's not as serious as the 40 and 40 in my opinion. We do put a lot of serious thought into we only have to do the preseason. We never have to do it again.
The easiest one. That's the easiest one. Nobody's played a game. It's just my opinion.
No one's lost. No one's won.
Yeah, I mean, the 40 and 40 was just, flowed. Now,
that's ours. But
I got to be honest with you. I hate doing the last 10 of the 40 and 40, Jim.
Full disclosure. Brown, I tell you every year, and you always send me 40. I always tell you, just send me 25. I don't need all 40.
I like to run through the tape, Jim.
I pitched this the very first year we were doing this platform. I said, instead of just doing our 40 and 40, why don't we do it every week? Do a poll every week, our own poll. And that got shot down like this, mainly because Brown said, do you remember how much we hated during the rest of what he's talking about? The biggest fear every voter has, and see if this was it for you. As the season progresses and you're doing your job, like back when I was the voter, I was at an Alabama game every week. I was still doing the Saban show. You worry about missing a team when you do your top 25, just leaving a team out when you send it in, or of not taking the consideration that somebody lost a game.
That's right. I accidentally saw the wrong result or something like that.
Oh, crap. I still have Oregon ranked number 3, and they got beat this weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I could not tell you. And then, like Brown says, it's full exposure. There's an AP poll tracker, and there are people worst balloter of the week, best balloter of the week. My fear was always to be in the middle. I did not want to be on either of the extremes.
And I'll tell you, the year I voted was the year Auburn played for the national championship. And I thought that was a really good team. They went to LSU, and I'm not going to remember the exact details. I think they turned it over like 3 or 4 times down there, and LSU beat them by 2 touchdowns. And I'm like, Auburn's better than that. And I didn't drop them as much. So it turned out
2013, right?
Yeah. You were at that game, I
Lost
think,
that game. I fumbled punt.
Yeah,
it
it was
a big injury, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it was just some weird stuff. And I remember thinking, Auburn's better than 14 points at LSU. It was just a weird day. And all season long, I had them ranked higher than anybody. And on that website, it was like, the biggest outlier for Auburn is Ryan Brown in Birmingham at WJOX, of course, hometown. And I'm like, Auburn fans tell me I hate their team, right?
Yeah.
But I do have them, so don't think this is like some sort of homer deal. And it turned out I was correct. Now, they did not win the national championship, but they played for it and came within a whisker of winning it. Should have won it in 2013. But yeah, that was me. I had the outlier vote for Auburn all year long, so I'm getting all this, hey, how do you have Auburn? I mean, I don't know that it's worth all that.
Yeah. My first one I remember is trying not to be the Alabama homer. I think I had – can't remember which team, but I think I had Ohio State ahead of Alabama. And, I called heat because that went out there. Alabama guy didn't have Alabama number 1. And I think they had, there were 65 voters, and I think they had 55 first place votes, but I didn't have one of them. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
So the hardest thing, though, is when as the season goes, ranking 15 through 25, because you got to put some pretty average teams in there. And there's no way this is one of the 25 best teams in the country.
In fairness, it was harder for Brown in 2013 than it was for me in 2015, because in 2015 we'd gone to the college football playoffs. So at some point, the AP poll didn't matter. Like, it was a big deal up until the college football playoff rankings came out, and then people didn't really care what I was doing. For Brown in 2013, the AP poll was a big part of the BCS that decided who played for the national championship. So the AP vote was 1/3 of who decided who played, one of the 2 teams that played for the national championship.
I still didn't take that seriously.
So it's insanity. So I've got some questions here about the opening of the AP poll, which drops today, about 11 a.m. Central?
It's supposed to drop noon Eastern, 11 Central. I am going to tell you it's going to look a whole lot like the coaches poll. Just go ahead and be prepared for that.
So?
I think it does every single year.
Forrester, I know we got a cool graphic on the coaches poll. If you can get that for me in a second. After Brownie tells us about our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Before Brownie tells us about Woodhouse Day Spa, you've been there several times.
Oh, yes, I have.
Tell us about the experience.
Excellent. It's very nice. It's clean. It's one of those places that you just want to kind of spend an afternoon in. And if you need a gift for your girlfriend, your wife, yourself even, get a massage, get your eyebrows done, get your nails done. They really have everything.
Yeah,
I mean, what else can I say?
I know.
Birmingham.woodhousespas.com is the only other thing I can say. That's where you can make an appointment online or get a gift card that EG's talking about. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Yeah, be her favorite this year at Woodhouse Day Spa. All right. So the coaches poll came out, was it last week? Last Monday? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, I believe that was right. You were out. It was one day you were out.
It was last Monday when I was with you.
And here's the
Okay,
way
that's right. It was me, Mick, Mick, and EG, yeah.
Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, the top 5 there. You see the rest of the rankings from the coaches 1 week ago. The AP poll comes out. So my first question to you, who will be number 1? Brownie, EG, I'll start with you. Will it be still Georgia over Ohio State?
I think it will be Georgia. I think that their roster is slightly better than Ohio State, but we talked about this last week that the money has been spent for Ohio State to be in that spot, but it's not exactly like being number 1, and this is always a good sign, but I do think it will be Georgia.
I think it will be Georgia. So they got 46. There's 61 first place votes in the AP if they haven't adjusted. I think there's still 61. Georgia's got the vast majority of those. I'll be interested to see how those votes are split up among the top teams, because I do think Georgia will be number 1 and Ohio State number 2. What will of the 61 votes, how many do you think Georgia will have if you think they're number 1? How many do you think they'll have out of 61? So I'll just go ahead and tell you, out of 63.
I think it's 64, Brownie. I don't know where you're getting 61.
I was just looking at the last vote of last year was 61.
Okay. Maybe it is.
So
61.
maybe they've added people. I don't know. I'm just saying the last AP poll last year was 61 votes.
Maybe 3 people didn't turn it in.
Could have. Georgia got 46 of the first place votes in the coaches poll.
So how many of the 61?
So how many of the 61? I would say 58.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be quite that. I think you'll get some Ohio State. I'll say 51 of 61.
Yeah. See, this may be why they haven't asked me back. I think I'd vote Ohio State number 1.
No, I mean, that's a legitimate vote. I don't think you should say that.
I think I'd go 1, 2. Now, Georgia has proven to me, Kirby Smart, that he can replace. But who are the playmakers? Carson Beck's the real deal, obviously, but who are the playmakers at wide receiver? Obviously, you got big recruits at tight end and all that. But Ohio State, if they get quarterback right with Will Howard, I think is a beast of a team. I think I would go Ohio State 1, Georgia 2 to start off the year.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and instantly, I'd be on one of those AP poll. They call it the poll assassin tracker. I'd be.
They don't pull assassin.
Oh, that's right.
That's
right.
Jeff Banks' wife.
I saw him in the chat room.
Yeah.
They don't call it that.
I think
whatever the poll tracker is. Yeah,
I think it's poll tracker. I don't think it's poll assassin.
assassin.
poll
Yes.
tracker. I'd be on the poll tracker, and people would be like, Jim Dunaway hates Georgia. He's an Alabama guy.
I mean, it'd be nerve-wracking for sure. Like, as you guys talk about it more, I don't know if I want that responsibility yet, but one day.
I think it'll be interesting to see who the Ohio State voters are. I will say that. I mean, that should be out today. I don't know how quickly they'll have that out. But who votes for Ohio State, I'll be interested. Seeing, in the coaches poll, there was 1 vote for Michigan.
Right.
As number 1. That's a coach. It's like you're number 1 till you get beat. And there are a lot of coaches that feel that way.
Coaches usually are slow to change.
Yeah, you're number 1 till you get beat. So I would be interested. I don't think you'll get a Michigan vote. There was a Texas vote for number 1 in the coaches poll.
That's possible.
I don't know if you'll get a Texas vote in the AP. I think they'll be split primarily between Georgia and Ohio State, but I can't say that I don't think anybody else are going to vote.
So where is Alabama? Alabama was 5 in the coaches poll. Where will they be in the AP poll? EGU first.
I still think that that's a good spot for them. I don't think they'll go higher than that, but I could see them maybe going as low as 7, dropping 2 spots.
I think that's their lowest ranking since 2009, if I remember correctly.
The number 5?
Number 5.
Yeah.
So if they come out 5 in the AP poll, that will match what it was then.
Which is where they'll be. Like, I am willing to say right now there will be 3 teams. Well, so if 1 team is ranked differently, that means at least 2 are.
Right.
Primarily. Yeah. I mean, I guess in 25.
So then I would do 7.
No. I'm trying to think of how many teams I'm willing to say are ranked differently in the AP versus the coaches poll. I don't think it'll be that many. And
I think it's a crap show after you get out of the top 10.
Yeah.
It'll be all a jumbled mess. But do you think Alabama's 5?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think the top 5 will look identical to the coaches poll. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama. I think it'll be absolutely identical.
I think Texas will be ahead of Oregon. I think Texas will be 3. And I have a feeling that Alabama will be either 4 or 6, depending on how the media sees them.
So almost going ahead of Alabama.
Yeah,
What do you want?
Media people, in my opinion, seem to have a wider range of emotions when it comes to making selections in the preseason.
Well, I think media people are more apt to get caught up in preseason hype than coaches are. I think. For instance, I'll use Nick Saban as an example. He's now a media person. But the reason Nick Saban likes Ole Miss this year is because he said they can finally compete up front. He's like, they couldn't compete with us in Georgia up front. I think Nick Saban, or a coach, looks at a team that way. They know the roster. Like, you could go to Eli Drinkwitz right now, or he might be I'm trying to think of a better example. Go to Lane Kiffin. And you could ask him that, like, why do you think you're closer to Georgia than you were last year? And he would probably tell you, we've gotten better at the defensive front. Mm-hmm. I don't know that media people are good at that. I think media people are apt to get caught up in the hype. Yeah. And Ole Miss is hype right now, so I think Ole Miss will be high in the media poll. Media people look at things like Missouri's schedule and say that is as favorable an SEC schedule as you can get anymore. I don't know how many coaches look at it that way. I think coaches tend to look more at roster and players and coach. I think we on the media side tend to look more. And again, part of this too, EG, is Dunaway and I did the poll differently. Like, my top 25, preseason top 25, I was saying I think this team will win the national championship. Mm-hmm. And I think they will beat number 2 to do it. And I think teams 3 and 4 will be in the playoff. And I think these top 10 teams will be. That's the way I did it.
Yeah. And I did mine with these are the best 25 teams right now, regardless of schedule, with no results yet.
And that's the nuances of it all, though, because
That's right. And the AP does not tell you how to vote. They tell you rank the teams in the top 25. Basically, that's what they tell you, right? They say rank who you think are the top 25. They don't give you any criteria. Don't consider this. Don't consider that. You just go rank who you think are the top 25 teams.
Do you guys think there should be parameters put on it of?
I don't.
How?
I think you can't ask me to vote and then tell me how to vote. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody evaluates
Not
the
in
team
my
differently.
America.
But
USA.
like, for instance, Bobby from Homewood in the chat room, in the mybookie.ag chat room, rails on us all the time for considering schedule. Well, I'm picking who I think is the best team in the country at the end of the year.
Yeah,
in a
but see-
preseason poll, I got to consider schedule for that. That's a massive part of the equation.
I go by who I believe, returning players and recruits, now portal guys, who I think the best 25 teams are, and then you let the season play out and you adjust from there.
So if you had Alabama, and let's say Alabama and Georgia are your top teams, and let's say, for the purposes of this discussion, Alabama doesn't get Georgia, and they don't get Texas, and they don't get Ole Miss. But Georgia has to play Ole Miss. They got to play Texas. They're at Texas A&M. They're at LSU. You would still rank it. You would still say, I think Georgia's the better team. But you look at that
To
schedule.
start with, and then
Yeah.
when they start losing games, I have to start
And that's the
adjusting.
whole
Yeah.
thing, is you can always adjust. Like I made, and this drove Dunaway insane when I did this.
Just so he would jumble it up like a team could go from nowhere to 12.
Well, I mean, if a team I had unranked beat a team in the top 10, I would be like, I screwed that one up.
Yeah.
They're better than that. They just showed it on the field, right? So I might jump them up from unranked to 8th.
Wow.
And well, I know, but I mean, like, why do I say, "Oop, I screwed that up"? But I'm going to punish them because I screwed it up. Well, I screwed it up. They were better than I thought, or they were much worse than I thought, right? And they lost to a team they got no business losing to. So I drop them out of the poll, and Jim would be like, "I don't see how you move them that much. You can't move them."
Yeah, because for me, I would take my poll last week.
Yep.
And then I would do all my information.
I'd love to see these notes because I know you still have
Oh
them.
yeah.
Oh, you know he does.
And I would sit there and I would, okay, and this team, and there was a pattern to it, and they were not wide, if
Oh,
you
I'd make
long-
massive moves.
I mean, he basically would wad his piece of paper up from last week.
That's
and
right.
Start
And
with a blank
clean
sheet.
slate,
No,
which makes sense, though.
Well, I mean, it's the way I voted. Yeah.
Right? I can see both sides.
I can only vote on what I've seen. I mean, preseason, I vote on what I think. After everything after that, I vote on what I see. So I would make big changes.
Royal Payne over in the mybookie.ag chat room says the AP voters that with another week of information could use some injuries against Texas and Notre Dame. Notre Dame with a big left tackle injury.
Yep.
Running back out at Texas. Running back out at Texas A&M. More on that in a little bit. So that could impact that poll a little bit. If I can see the poll one more time.
And can I make a point real quick, EG?
Yeah.
The only one that really mattered was the last one. And that's what I used to always tell people. It's like, I only got to get the last one right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Week 8 doesn't mean crap. I just got to get the last one right,
Yeah, there's the ranking again. The coaches poll last week. AP poll comes out today at 12 Eastern, 11 Central as you watch us. So my other question before Brownie tells us about Lawn Years Furniture is how many SEC teams will be in the AP poll? In the coaches poll, Georgia 1, Texas 4, Bama 5, Ole Miss 6, Missouri 11, LSU 12, Tennessee 15, Oklahoma 16, Texas A&M 20, and that's it. There were 9 SEC teams in the top 25.
How could you have more?
Do you think it'll be 9? Did they miss anybody? Does Auburn sneak in there with a little push at the end? Who else who's not there in the coaches that should have been there?
I don't know that you would have to have 10. You'd have to have 10 SEC teams. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you would agree,
who's
though.
left? Vandy, Mississippi State.
You don't have Vandy State, Auburn,
South Carolina,
South Carolina.
Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know who else you'd put in there.
Yeah, Auburn is the one that
That'd be my cut. That'd be my next
the
one out.
media
Yeah.
is the one that seems to believe this is a better than 7.5 wins year for Auburn. So that's the one that'll be interesting to me. But do you think 9 holds on, or does does it end up being 8?
I don't know, but Josh Pate is in our chat room saying the only poll that matters is the JP poll.
Yeah.
Jefferson Pilot gave that up so Josh Pate could have it. Jefferson Pilot crawled so Josh Pate could run.
Ed Lake kicked Josh all his stuff. Sunday night's always a must-see.
Yeah, the JP poll used to be an 11 a.m. game, by the way.
Yeah.
Jefferson Pilot. God, I forget how young she is. You don't even remember the Jefferson Pilot game.
I don't.
Yeah.
It was.
Let me throw this. Let me throw this body armor flash IV in your eyes, and then try to look at that TV. That's how clear that game was.
It was pre-high definition, and it was the early SEC game, and it was often like a really good team, like Alabama or Tennessee or whoever was good at that time, versus a team that's struggling.
Yeah, Vandy was on. Vandy was the honorary JP game.
They were there every year.
Yeah, Vandy had so many 11 a.m. kickoffs.
The three Daves.
Which is to this day why SEC fans hate 11 a.m. kickoffs.
That was the worst game.
It was always considered to be the worst game of the week.
I just thought it was you had to get out there so early.
Well, that's part of it. But I think you're like, oh, we're the JP game. It's going to be a crappy. I mean, they never had like a top 25 matchup.
Lanyas Furniture, and one more thing to get to in this opening segment here.
It's our guy, Jon Lunceford. You can save up to 50% store-wide right there right now. And if your college football season and NFL season is around the corner and you don't have the proper furniture, the recliners that you need, the bed that you need to get the good sleep the night before the game, Lunceford Furniture is the place to go. Special financing available, great deals in their warehouse, even scratch and dent closeout items. So a budget, any budget, it fits at Lunceford Furniture. The best place to go is just online, launiusfurniture.com. That's L-A-U-N-I-U-S, launiusfurniture.com. They've been doing this since 1934, so you know they're doing something right. Make that short drive to Lanyas Furniture and save big up in Kimberly, US 31, just off I-65, launiusfurniture.com.
Auburn and Kentucky just missed our 40 and 40 preseason top 25. Auburn was 26. And Kentucky came sliding in at number 30. So those would be the only one not mentioned in the 9 coaches polls that may have a chance to jump in there when the AP poll comes out a little bit later on today. We'll talk Harbaugh. We'll talk prime time, all that coming up on the show. And we'll break down Alabama and Auburn scrimmage. You'll hear a little bit of that before we actually get to our guests. But our new venture, thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com, inside intel information from Auburn and Alabama camps, some behind a paywall, some free. We'll actually talk to a couple of the folks providing that information at 10 a.m. Central, starting hour 2 today. Kyle Rush will join us from thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com. If you followed them over the weekend, great intel from the scrimmages there in real time, and then great breakdowns throughout the weekend. You can jump on there. $1 is the subscription fee to start out with. $1 gets you going to see if you like the barn, auburn.com. Same story over at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com. Clint Lamb will join us at 10:25 to break down Alabama's scrimmage and some of the intel you can get there. It's all right there at thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com, and they'll join us at 10 and 10:25 Central today. We'll talk about the scrimmage and best and worst of the weekend and a lot more as we continue on the show on this beautiful Monday. We are now just 12 days away from college football.
You got to be kidding me.
12 days away from college football. Show 761, and I'll remind you that Thursday night is our 4th kickoff party that we'll do in this platform for the 4th time. All of them have been at walk-ons. It's this Thursday night, starting at 5 o'clock until the party's over at Stadium Trace. What can you add to that, Brownie?
We got some giveaways. We'll have some drink specials from our friends at Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Some giveaways, a shirt, the commemorative shirt. I got to find out how many get the shirt. Does anybody in the back room know? I should know this piece of information. But we've got the commemorative shirt that the first so many that arrived.
Yeah, everybody's doing this.
Doing
Do we even have a commemorative shirt this year, Lunceford?
Yes, we do.
Lunceford is saying no, we do not.
I do, in fact, know we have the commemorative shirt.
Lunceford is saying no, we don't.
Oh, I think we do.
Yeah.
I think Lunceford's incorrect on this.
Yeah,
I'm throwing my challenge flag to Lunceford. Let's go to review.
If not, Brown will be buying 100 local T-shirts.
I'll give you some next round shirts. That'll be
Sharpies, and you can make your own shirt. All that coming up Thursday night, 5 p.m. Central.
5 a.m.
Yeah, that's a different kind of party there.
Look at Little T. We have a shirt.
Yes, we have a shirt. Okay, Little T from the command center there. We do have a shirt. Lunceford, have you met Taylor? Taylor, have you met Lunceford? So all that's happening Thursday night at the kickoff party. We look forward to hanging out with you guys that are in town in the Birmingham area this week. All right, best and worst of the weekend when we come back. The show is being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Speaking of Lunceford, the Meltdown guys, he and Melton, they've lost over 100 pounds. They continue using the great plan there at Way to Wellness. The website's aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. No cookie cutter plan. Everything's designed specifically for you. For instance, I use a plan there to maintain my weight loss, my blood pressure number, cholesterol numbers. My plan's different than Lunceford's. My plan's different than Melton's. You're overseen by a board-certified professional. Leslie and her team will take care of you. The consultation that you see on the screen right now, it's absolutely free. There's no contract, no sign-up fees. It is the best way to lose weight and keep weight off. The website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. We're back on TNR in just a second.
Follow LT on Twitter at thelancetaylor.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Excitement awaits at Barber Motorsports Park for the Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. It's a high-octane weekend you won't want to miss. Witness some of the most iconic sports cars like Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, and Ferrari battling it out on the track. Enjoy the beer gardens, kids zone, and don't forget to bring your dog for bark at the park on Saturday. The Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets today.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Our friends at Hemp Hill brings us best and worst of the weekend. Best and worst of the weekend. I'll give EG a chance to start with the worst of the weekend in just a second after I... Well, I mean...
It's all over the chat room. You're just stealing it for the chat room.
Best and worst of the weekend brought to you by the wonderful folks at Hemp Hill. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or your business, they're ready to serve you with the wonderful folks at Hemp Hill. The number to call, 205-229-2090, 229-2090 for our friends at Hemp Hill Services. It is the name Birmingham has trusted since the 1950s, so almost a century of trustworthiness. We talk about heating and cooling all the time, which is always very important. But my goodness, if you got a plumbing problem, you cannot find a good plumber just on the fly. You need to have one in your back pocket ready to go, right? That's Hemphill. They're standing by ready to help you. 205-229-2090, 229-2090, or just remember the name Hemphill. Everyone in the mybookie.ag chat room already saying it. So, E.G., what was your worst of the weekend?
I mean, Dunaway, like, we started off so good, and...
We, you, and Jim, or we, the Braves?
No, me, you, and Jim today.
Yeah.
And it's not trending right.
Well, I mean, you got to talk about this
We
at some
have to
point.
talk about
just
it.
rip
We'll
the
talk
Band-Aid
about
off.
it on the Pennant Grace
no,
today at
we can't do that.
12:15.
No, tease what you're going to talk about.
So the Braves lost really bad, and I'm hoping it's rock bottom, but at this point, I just don't know.
As Patrick calls it, is there a live Pennant disgrace today?
That's pretty good, Patrick. I like that.
You know,
what's going on here, E.G.? Can they dig this out of the ditch, you think?
We have said continually, I think this could be the worst game of the season, or that is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And then the Braves continue to surprise us. So with that being said, times are dark in Braves country right now. Luke Jackson specifically, if you're a Braves fan, you know what I'm talking about with him. And we're just going to hope we make postseason. But
I mean, that's become tricky.
You did say last week, oh, of course the Braves will make postseason. There's no way they won't.
Well, that did surprise me that they're not in the mix. I mean, that they're not.
Did you see that?
I
what
mean,
happened?
Didn't they lead like by 8 games in the wild card at one point?
Okay, so
he's got a history of this.
We're not going to get into specifics. Last week, when I was in your chair, Brownie, Dunaway said that he was on vacay. So he didn't realize that the Braves had then fallen out of the wild card spot.
Yeah. When the Mets were, I brought up, hey, the Mets have jumped the Braves in the wild card race. I thought it just meant the Braves went from being the number 1 wild card team to the second wild card team. And she was like, yeah, they're blah, blah, out of the wild card. And I was like, I tried to correct her on the air.
Yeah.
Nice. I was like, E.G., 3 teams make the wild card.
They do.
And then she continues to double down. They're not in the wild card right now. Well, so I had to pull up the standings. I was like, oh, my God, what has happened to the Braves?
They're only by half a game right now. So coming off the worst loss of the season, according to a lot of people in the chat room.
I would have to agree. When you have a lead like that, it is in Colorado, so anything can happen. However, it was not a great showing from...
Yeah, your hitters get hit in Colorado, too.
Yeah.
Not just theirs.
Yeah. So...
Well, Luke Jackson, you went and got him at the trade deadline.
Right,
you brought him back because he was good in 2021. How's he doing? How did he do yesterday?
He did not do great, Dunaway, thank you. But with Luke Jackson, he had some pretty rough years, 2018, 2019, but he's remembered recently for his success in the 2021 World Series. But if you are a Braves fan and you see him on the mound, you have that like taste in your mouth of I've seen this before. And his last 2 games have been a replication of that. So
not the good Luke Jackson.
No, but I don't even want to say good Luke Jackson because that was such a small.
Yeah, that was like one game, right?
Yeah, it's not like he was this ace on the mound for us. Besides when it really mattered, which does count for something. And again, I hesitate to speak too negatively on these players because they are Major League Baseball players and pitching is very hard and all of these things. I'm not on the mound. However, it does seem like at this point something has got to give, and that was not what the Braves needed at all.
Best and worst of the weekend brought to you by Hemphill. Brown's going to give some from the chat room over there. Brownie, tell us what the folks are talking about.
Hunter's best, watching Aussie's attempt to break dance. His worst, the Braves making him dead inside. You're going to a lot of Braves in the worst. The Aussie breakdancing. My wife was laughing at this on social media. Like, there's this one Australian girl.
Ray Gunn.
Ray Gunn?
Ray Gunn.
Yeah.
That's her stage name.
Yeah, and she does... Now, look, breakdancing, I get, they call it breaking in the Olympics.
They do. And listen, I did not think, and I still don't think it should be an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
But after watching some of it, I'm like, well, that is very athletic.
No, I think there's a level of athleticism that has to be part of it. But this girl was apparently, there's this thing on TikTok that says, link 2 videos that give you the same vibe. And it was the video of her breakdancing, and then it leads to Michael Scott when they're on the dinner boat. and still on the dancing, and it was painfully similar. So
still photos.
We got some still photos. We cannot show you Olympic footage. Thank you, Tyler, for the still
They've been
photos.
striking that footage down everywhere.
Yeah. The Olympics are very big sticklers on you using their footage.
Yeah.
And they really don't want you to see this one because I don't think it helps the Olympic Games any at all. But now my wife was laughing because she's like, y'all bash at this girl, but this is what the tweet said or the Instagram post or whatever. Y'all bash at this Australia girl, but she finessed a 2-week vacation to Paris and you didn't, which is a pretty good point.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, pretty good point.
And she had her moment too. Like everyone knows who this girl is.
Yeah, she'll be a star about this.
Robert's best, the race at Richmond, the worst, the Braves. It's over, he says.
The Richmond race.
What happened?
I sent this out last night. Was this horrible or was this fantastic? Austin, it's a short track, right? So Austin Dillon's in second place behind Joey Logano. And they're coming to final turn. So either you're going to be good sport and finish second.
First loser.
Logano's already locked in his playoff spot and anything. Or you're going to hit him in the bumper and send him into the wall.
So what did he choose, Jim?
He chose violence, Brown. He bumped him. But as he bumps him,
right,
Denny Hamlin slides ahead of Dillon because bumping this guy slowed Austin down.
But I didn't bump this guy out of the lead for nothing.
So Denny Hamlin's in the lead, and he's like, I've already chose violence, so I've got to dump the 11 car too. Yeah. So he wrecks Logano. Then he wrecks Denny Hamlin. He crosses the finish line under a caution and a checker and sparks. Cars are crashing.
Gunfire.
And Austin Dillon, he said, what was the quote? I got it right here.
Well, everybody was getting on him.
Here's the quote.
Yeah, okay.
I hate it, but I had to do it.
Well, I
hate it, but I had to do it.
So here's the thing. Like, everybody was getting on to him. They're like, yeah, bumping a guy in the corner is just short track racing. But what he did to Denny Hamlin, that's just Bush League. And I'm like, you're running second on this is the last lap, right?
Oh, they're coming around the last turn?
Yeah. You're running second. You knock the leader into the wall, and a guy passes you. You didn't knock the leader in the wall to finish second. I mean, of course you're going to wreck the other guy, right?
If Logano's going to be mad at me, I might as well go ahead and make Denny mad at me, too.
That's right.
And by the way, Logano and Denny Hamlin, especially Logano, come out and be whining about this. How many people has Logano dumped in his life?
Oh, I'm sure.
My goodness.
Jace, no best of the weekend. That is unfortunate. No best of the weekend. His worst, Australia's Ray Gunn doing whatever she thinks is breakdancing. Kuchar making the people come back to finish his round this morning. So this is a PGA Tour story I was filling EG in on.
Technically, only one person came back. They had a PGA score out there. That was it.
So basically,
somebody probably had to mow the grass.
They're racing darkness last night, and Matt Kuchar's like, I tell you what, I'm going to finish tomorrow, which he had the option of doing. He's the only player in the field that chose to do that, and he's like 8 shots out of the lead. It impacted nothing. And this is a guy that's top 10 all-time earnings. He probably just go ahead and punch it out in the fairway and finish last night, but he chose not to do that. So one person comes back on Monday, and a lot of people had to come back to make that happen, though. I mean, that's the sad part. There are a lot of people had to come back just to let this one guy finish the 18th.
Yeah.
He's not like on 15. He's already hit his tee shot on 18. Now he hit it in another fairway, but he's already hit it.
At least he parred.
He did par and won 100-something thousand.
Land My Believer, mybookie.ag, promo code next round. Chat room, I honestly think Dunaway could have beaten Ray Gunn.
I mean, I'd kind of like to see that.
I honestly am surprised Taylor Korn, the queen of content, hasn't come in and asked me to repeat Ray Gunn's moves yet.
It doesn't look very advanced. I'll say that.
I didn't see it, so I need to go check that out. More best and worst of the weekend in just a second. The show being brought to you by our friends at Odie's. I had a chance on Saturday to swing by the Homewood location and enjoy a nice lunch down there. I had the opportunity to do that because I had the opportunity to go retrieve my wife's laptop that she had left at a breakfast destination down in that area.
That's unfortunate.
She had met my nephew who's off to Yale. Humble brag for the family. He's off to Yale, and he was leaving to go to college. So her and him went to breakfast. Him and her went to breakfast. That's why I didn't get to Yale. And she left her laptop there, and I volunteered to go get it for her.
Such a giver.
So that I could go to lunch at Odie's. Odie's, great. I had a club sandwich there the other day. It was fantastic. Great food, wonderful fries. Picked up some chicken fingers from my son. Had a nice cold beverage while I was sitting there for lunch outside on their patio. Also in the Crestline area where they do trivia every Wednesday night. Live music on the weekends. Great place to watch the games. It's our wonderful friends at Odie's. Riley, you're right. I live in a household where I got a nephew on his way to Yale. My wife's at Duke.
Lots of blues.
Wow, look at you. That is a smart side of the family, right?
Harper and I, proud graduates of the University of Montevallo.
Hey, I can't take a shot. You graduated,
or as we like to call it, Ivy League of the South.
That's right, Ivy League of Shelby
Georgia
County.
Southern is Harvard of the South.
That's right.
We're in good company.
See you, Buff. Montevallo is the Yale of Shelby County.
That's right. Go ahead and own it, Dunaway. Just own it. More best to worst of the weekend. A ton of Braves in here. You Braves fans taking that loss really, really, really bad.
Well, we can have a therapy session at 12:15.
Yeah. 12:15, the Pennant Grace on social media. Follow that. Another worst of the weekend, Falcons falling like flies against my Dolphins. It's just one thing you face in preseason football. They got to practice. I don't guess technically they have to have preseason games, but they do have to have these inter-squad practices and at least preseason games. Guys are going to get hurt.
The 49ers and the Saints have canceled their inter-squad practices together. No live contact this week because of so many injuries.
Yeah.
Both their squads have been injured up, and they're saying we're not going to do it this week. We're going to practice, but we're not going to have any inter-squad practices.
On the positive, and I don't want to touch on this too much. I know we're going to come back to this, but as was mentioned in the mybookie.ag chat room, on the positive for the Falcons, Penix looked good.
He did.
A lot of people wondering about that draft pick, and through one preseason game, looks the part. Yeah. That's one preseason game against the Dolphins, 2s and 3s.
Let's break down all of what we saw the NFL weekend coming up in the next segment. We'll get more of your best and worst of the weekend as we go on. If you're watching baseball tonight, Dodgers and Brewers, the best series starts at 7:10 there in Milwaukee. And all the great college football scrimmage talk still to come at 10:25, and after that. I did want you to hear from the coaches, and this will be our Johnson RV sound of the day. Up first, let's go with Hugh Freeze, cut number 3. Auburn's head coach gets asked about the team's progression from year 1 to year 2 in his eyes. Here is the coach of the Auburn Tigers.
Can you speak on the progression from year 1 to year 2 now with you at the helm, as well as just the team's identity overall going into the season?
The team's culture is better, the team's chemistry is better, and the team's accountability is better, the effort's better, our roster's better. I don't know what that means for year 2, but I enjoy where we are right now.
Where he stopped short there, and I know Hugh Freeze is not going to say this, but I think every Auburn fan wants to know the answer to this. Is the offensive play calling better because Hugh Freeze is taking it over? I mean, your roster is better, 100% check. He says culture is better. We're not there every day. It either is or it isn't. He would know more than me. So check, culture is better. All those things are checked better. Offensive play calling, that's what Auburn fans want to see. Hugh Freeze taking over the play calling. Is the offense smoother? Does it work better? Is it progressing as well?
Yeah, and you've been down there, but Ken Austin, he has a reputation with quarterbacks, and I think that's good. And then when you get DJ Durkin as a defensive coordinator, he is forever judged by one incident when he was a head coach. But as a defensive coordinator, I think he's really good. Brown always brings up the numbers, don't always back that up at other places.
But everybody in the coaching business really likes DJ Durkin, but his numbers don't necessarily back up that this guy's just amazing. But there again, if he just keeps Auburn's defense where it was, Auburn's fine. Yeah. Defense was not Auburn's issue last year.
So I think, in my belief, I think Auburn's coaching staff is almost as improved as their roster is.
I would agree with that from what I've heard and being down there, that there's a like-mindedness to that staff that was not there last season. And I've said that there's no secret that wasn't the case. And I mentioned this before, but it's reaching the right people, specifically in Peyton Thorne, because now he's in a situation where everyone's on the same page and the play calling signals are similar and the nuances of this offense are coming together in a way, and he's getting that support he needs. Coach Nick said that there's a new confidence to him as well as a different sense of urgency. And truthfully, if you were to ask any one of those coaches, it would start with the staff is on the same page now.
Yeah, so that's Auburn. We'll talk more to Kyle Rush, thebarnauburn.com. If you have not signed up, go help us out and drop $1 and see if you like it, thebarnauburn.com for you Auburn fans out there. We'll talk to Kyle Rush at the top of the hour. Clint Lamb at 10:25 from covercrimson.com. Speaking of Alabama, Kalen DeBoer talking about Saturday's scrimmage and how he would just sum that up.
Good give and take. Got some explosive plays. You got some tackles for loss. Obviously from my standpoint, you want the defense to do better on the explosive plays and not give those up. And you're proud of the offense, and then vice versa there with tackles for loss and sacks and things like that. But thought one thing I've seen over the last few practices, we've had the officials there. It's always going to be that way early in camp, some penalties and things like that. I thought we did a lot better job today, really did a really good job, actually, when I think about it. I don't know the number, but very few. So proud of the guys. Thought they did a really good job. Staying relatively healthy, just your typical fall camp stuff. Guys dinged up a little bit here and there, but nothing more than what you'd expect.
Boy, and that's at both Auburn, where I'm told Auburn didn't even in the scrimmage tackle you to the ground. It was mostly just
tackling,
first contact. And you just want everyone to get out healthy, because we see it around the country. We'd already seen C.J. Baxter, the top running back at Texas, go down, and then Texas A&M, another SEC school, still getting used to Texas being in the league. A&M's been in the league since 2012. Reuben Owens, 743 all-purpose yards, out for the season with a lower body injury. So there's two contributors at running back, both with the SEC Texas schools, that are done for the year. So anytime, every day when they're on the field, you go to the barnauburn.com and you go to covercrimson.com and you sit there and you go, please, no injuries. Please, no injuries. And that's where we are until we start the seasons off. All right, a little NFL when we come back. Johnston RV Center bringing you this part of the show.
Listen, it is tailgate season, and Johnston RV Center wants to make sure you are ready for tailgate season. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Their end of summer showcase is up and running right now. The best floor plans, the best prices of the season. You will be thrilled at Johnston RV Center. How about pre-owned travel trailers as low as $14,995? Fifth wheels starting at $397 a month. RV warranty forever. Gives you a lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying pre-owned. Johnston RV Center, the end of the summer showcase, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or michelson.laservision.com.
Little NFL conversation after we react to Deion Sanders. You can give me cut 5, Tyler. Local news conference, the kind EG goes to about 3 or 4 times a week now at camp. Going on after a Colorado practice. Deion Sanders running the Colorado program. This interaction with a local CBS, I assume CBS Denver reporter. Basically, if you're in the Birmingham market, it'd be like the CBS Channel 42 guy coming out there, or Channel 8 if you're down in Montgomery.
I don't know.
Channel 19 in Huntsville.
I have no idea.
Yeah, just your local CBS station. Yeah, it's just your local reporter coming out there asking the local coach a question at a local news conference. Here's how it went down.
That's the end of that question, I guess. Next guy.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got nothing to
Sports
do with
Radio.
you. This is above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe
Ain't got
Rigo,
nothing
Mile
to
High
do with
Sports.
you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
Well, technically, you're looking at me through sunglasses on the inside.
What did, in fact, they do that was foul?
I don't know.
Because the university spokesman said he didn't know either.
I assume it's CBSSports.com. I assume it's either Dennis Dodd or Tom Fornelli or Barrett Sallee or anybody else who's ever written for CBSSports.com.
Gary Danielson potentially, since it was CBS.
What did CBS do? I don't know. But first off, you're looking at me through glasses, and you got all the love for me, all the respect for me, but you're gonna embarrass me in front of all my coworkers. Hats off, I don't know his name or her name, but the local NBC affiliate in Denver did a big rant and called Deion out on this, and it rings true more because it wasn't the CBS affiliate doing it; it was one of their competitors doing it. That's Bush League. That's Bush League to do that. And listen. You can go back to Nick Saban yelling and ranting at the local media all you want. The guy always would answer a question from anybody. And he when you got called on, I don't care what your affiliate had ever done to him, AL.com or whatever, he may have yelled, but he would answer the question. This is Bush League in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not great. And as someone that is in that setting quite often, like you mentioned, 3 to 4 times a week now, that's one of those things that it's confusing. I wanted the backstory on it because it sounds like that reporter is there quite frequently. So this must...
Deion seemed to know him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it tells me that CBS must have done something since the last availability.
People are saying it may involve his kid and the lawsuit with the security guard and the bankruptcy report, quote unquote.
Somebody said that CBS Sports rated him second worst coach in the Big 12. I don't know if he'd be that petty. I really don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody knows. And he says CBS knows what they did. So USA Today asked a school spokesperson, well, then what did CBS do? And they're like, we don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a bad look.
But they know. They know what they did.
They know that they did.
We don't know what they did, but they know what they did.
Let me tell you, if it's criticizing Deion Sanders, like if it's CBS, they're just too critical of him doing that's not going to slow that down.
Exactly.
Oh, it's going to ramp it up.
It's probably going to only ramp it up. Yeah. And Deion doesn't, I say he doesn't care. He's being pretty petty about it. And look, him not answering the question for the guy at CBS Denver, that's not really going to impact them. He did a whole press conference. That guy can pick 15 different sound bites from that press conference to use. CBS Denver's not turning the lights off because Deion didn't answer that one question from the guy. In
Very
fact,
unnecessary.
Yeah, in fact, it only drew more attention to whatever this is.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and I'm curious because it must be something that happened in the last week or so because he was very complimentary of the reporter standing there. But in that setting, answer the question, and if you want to use that reporter to get your point across about CBS, tack it on at the end.
That's right. Now, you can say, Jim, I know this is not you, you're CBS Denver, but I've got a beef with CBS National. I want to explain it right now.
Yeah. Give me your question.
Yeah, then I explain it, and then I say, now, we think we're progressing well at defensive back.
Right.
There's professional ways to do it, and there's petty ways to do it. Deion's being petty right there.
Our friends at Hydra Live bring you a part of the show today. I always mention memberships when it comes to Hydra Live for all their services at their locations around our area. You can go to Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments, which is so good to keep the fluids exactly right, help you with your immune system and everything. Vitamin injection therapy, compression therapy that keeps the blood flowing in your muscles as you go through the training process or your workouts. The cryotherapy to keep you rejuvenated. Everywhere with our friends at Hydrolife Therapy. Check them out at their locations.
Keep in mind, this is mentioned, I think, sarcastically in the mybookie.ag chat room, but Deion has a history of this. EG is too young to remember, but when the Braves won the World Championship back in '95, Tim McCarver was doing the games for CBS then, maybe Fox. Was it CBS then?
Yeah.
And
Sean McDonough and Tim McCarver were the play-by-play guys.
And McCarver had been critical of Deion Sanders playing for the Falcons and for the Braves during the postseason, doing both. And Deion did not like that. So in the post game, Tim McCarver's in the locker room doing interviews, and Deion dumps a bucket of water on him.
Oh, my
Not once, but I think
goodness.
twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Tyler, nope, it's Matt. Matt says, Deion, please show us on the doll where CBS hurt you. That's a great line.
I don't think that is a good line. I don't think it goes all the way back to Tim McCarver, but again, that shows that Deion has a history of being thin-skinned on stuff like this.
Okay, real quickly from the before we get back to college football and the scrimmages, what we saw this weekend on the pro circuit, the exhibition play. Some quarterbacks, EG, that I found interesting. Let's go former Auburn, Oregon star Bo Nix first at Denver. What'd you see from him?
Yeah, he was great, and I think he's making a compelling case to get the start in Denver. He completed 15 of 21 passes, and he just stood out over Jarrett Stidham. I think that if you're an Auburn fan, you might be thinking, where was that when he was in an Auburn uniform? But it's one of those things that must be really encouraging. I think he stuck out the most out of his class right now.
I thought the most impressive part, he was in command of his offense. Now, again, I'm watching that game. I don't know where we got 2s and 3s here or 1s and 2s.
I think he, if I read correctly, benefited from the starters.
Yeah, and maybe was going against the 2s. The thing that impressed me most, though, was the touchdown throw down on the goal line. That's an NFL throw. That's a throw that you have to make in the NFL.
On the move, right?
On the move, front corner of the end zone, tiny window. You've got a linebacker that's cutting that window off. You got a DB that can break it up, and he, paints the corners right in that window with some pop. Showing some arm strength right there. That was a man's throw in the NFL right there. That gets picked off, it's pick six the other way. It's 6 points on the board, and he put it right in the window. That was a fantastic touchdown throw.
And Sean Payton loves him. Your hometown Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, Michael Penix.
What did you think of Michael Penix Jr.?
I think what stuck out to me the most was the comments afterwards. So he played the first 5 possessions, and one of the coaches said he's comfortable and he's a pro. Forrester, I'm curious to know your opinions on Michael Penix.
Yeah, so Forrester, also a big Falcons guy. What do you think of Penix's exhibition showing?
I didn't see a single play of it.
Rise up.
Scott is all in on Penix.
Still not excited about that pick, but, you know.
Well, he looked the part again. You're going against a lot of 2s and 3s for the Dolphins. It's 5 preseason possessions in game 1. You're going to get a lot of backups in that situation.
Yeah, he had a deep pass that was completed, so I'm sure Falcons fans will be excited about that. I think it was 41 yards. So Michael Penix. I think also him and DeBoer were together recently, and it looks like maybe some recruiting tool there that didn't have Washington fans exactly excited.
One more real quickly. Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. I thought he looked fantastic.
Yeah. How many? He played the first series.
Yeah, 2 of 4, I think, passing only like 45 yards, but the little zone read down on the goal line and ran it in, which is the dynamic he brings to the Commanders, his ability to run.
Yeah, he got the starter treatment almost, though. He was not out there long.
Yeah, absolutely. The Commanders showed you this is our guy. We're going to play him one possession, one drive, and we're pulling him out of the game. He's not going to get hurt.
More exhibition coming up this week. One more big exhibition weekend, or is it 2 more? 2 more big exhibition weekends, about 20 so days from the start of the NFL season. Our kickoff party is Thursday night. We go back to the college game scrimmages everywhere, including Tuscaloosa and Auburn. We will chop that up when we come back. The show being brought to you by our friends at A+, the folks that changed LT, Brownies, and maybe someday EG's Kitchen and Bathroom.
I ran into another happy A+ towel home remodeling customer before I left town over the weekend. Stopped me and said, hey, I heard you talking about A+. I know Jennifer, my wife Jennifer, was with me. She's like, thank you for scouring the internet and finding A+. He's used them and is thrilled with the work they have done. By the way, one of my neighbors doing a bathroom remodeling told me it was going to take 9 weeks. A+ was in and out of my house start to finish in less than 2 weeks. They work hard. They're organized. Great crews right there. Brad Bell is the guy's name. I'm about to give you Brad's cell number, 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. What he specializes in, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. You're going to enjoy those rooms when you have the house. You're going to make some of that money back when you go to sell the house because those things pop when people visit your house. So anything in your house that you is outdated and you're ready to get it done, especially if it's master bath, kitchen, master bedroom closet, let Brad be the guy. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. We go to Auburn and Tuscaloosa next on the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or michelson-laservision.com.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok while we're changing the game yet again. Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the next round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Man, we were so excited last week to announce our new venture, covercrimson.com. I'm so excited, I forgot the name.
Yeah.
Covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. We're about to talk to both representatives, Auburn first with Kyle Rush and then Clint Lamb in the next segment about the big scrimmage weekend coming up. But we encourage you to go over there just for $1. You jump on for $1 and see if you like what they're doing there. And I fell in love with it just with the scrimmages, just the intel after scrimmages this weekend. It was so great to have boots on the ground and get people that I trust giving me some information out of those scrimmages there. So again, if you go check it out, go over there, thebarnauburn.com, covercrimson.com. $1 gives you a chance to get behind the paywall and see everything they offer. And a lot of free stuff, too. A lot of videos and show content. And we'll talk to one of those guys right now.
That's right. Kyle Rush is with us. You know him as Charlie 5 from
Yes, sir.
thebarnauburn.com.
Wait, is that why y'all been laughing at me that I call him 5-card Charlie? So it's Charlie 5.
It's Charlie 5.
Okay, okay.
Dunaway loves to mess up nicknames, though, Kyle.
I'm horrible.
Yeah. I'll answer to either. Hey, for $1, you can't beat it. You can't beat what's going on at the barn, auburn.com right now.
That's right. The message boards have been hot. You guys had some intel from scrimmage over the weekend. Let's start there. What was your biggest, you don't do everything here, the biggest takeaway, sure, Kyle, from scrimmage number 1? The intel you got was what?
Yeah, I think Hugh Freeze absolutely nailed the 4 freshman wide receivers. I was blown away by what Malcolm Simmons was able to do enrolling later in the year. He wasn't one of those December enrollees. He enrolled in June, and to be able to come in, and I think he had 6 catches for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. Really being able to show out, moving him all over the field too. I was really blown away with Malcolm Simmons, and then Bryce Kane, one of the smaller. He was probably the smallest receiver of that group of 4. He also had a big scrimmage. So the young receivers in general, Perry Thompson had a big catch. The young receivers in general, I'm just kind of blown away at how quickly they've sort of worked their way into the lineup. And I know there wasn't much competition, or there wasn't a long way to go, but still to be able to be freshmen and making an impact that quick, that was definitely the biggest storyline for me.
Kyle, I want to stay on the Malcolm Simmons train. What do you expect from him this season, and how do you see him fitting into Hugh Freeze's offense?
Yeah, see, Zach and I were talking about that on our Monday show, the Top Button podcast this morning, and the crazy thing is we're now actually talking about whose playing time would he take, because there's actually better guys in front of him. So I think he's going to be a guy that you're going to see probably just absolutely demolish a mop-up time as far as, like, when you're playing some of these warm-up games that you have. I think he could be a guy that comes in the third quarter and take 2 to the house for 100-plus yards. I think he's going to be that type of guy early, and then sort of work his way into being try to use him to get mismatches. I think with them moving him all over the field in the slot, outside, and bringing him in motion all over the place, I think that just goes to show you how they're trying to find ways to figure out how to be able to get this kid the ball, because he's so electric with the ball in his hands.
I'm new to your content. I love your information. I love your energy. Top Button Podcast. Every time I see you, you've got that button
on brand, baby.
It's like you're going to work. How did that get started, man? It's like it's business only for you.
Well, hey, why is the shirt got a button on it if you shouldn't button it? I don't understand why. You got to finish the drill. Yeah. You finish the drill, you go ahead and button it all the way up to the top. I don't know why you got a button up there if you don't keep that thing buttoned up.
Also, subtle flex with the Scotty Cameron logo on the collar there.
Yeah, I tried to make sure
only us golfers catch that, Kyle.
Okay, so from reading thebarnauburn.com, it looked like, from what you guys were saying, they were not tackling to the ground a lot of time in this scrimmage. Is that just Hugh Freeze looking at the landscape of college football and saying, I don't want any injuries in this? Or is it a concern for depth? What's your big take on that?
So if you listen to Hugh on Friday, Hugh's got pretty shook over the C.J. Baxter injury, I feel like, at Texas. That was something that when he was even asked about it, he couldn't even really form a sentence, which is not something that's very common for Hugh Freeze. But 10 out of the 14 scrimmage drives were not take to the ground full contact. It was thud or like first contact, blow the whistle. And then they only ran, I think, 4 drives where it was full contact. It really seemed like safety was a big theme of the scrimmage. There was even a remote, if there was even like a remote idea that there was an injury, that person was coming out. Keldrick Falk had a shoulder thing. I don't think it was serious at all, but it was early in the scrimmage. He came out and didn't play the rest of the time. Keys, the starting linebacker, had a lower leg deal, came out, didn't play. I don't know that it's a concern over injuries as much as it is. Man, you just don't. I mean, think about Texas right now. You're starting running back. Your guy that's like your heir apparent to kind of take over, had a big year as a true freshman last year. You're thinking is going to explode in the SEC, and now he's out for the whole season. So I think if that had not happened, it may have been honestly, I believe if that injury had not happened, it may have been a different scrimmage. But I don't think it's necessarily a depth concern as much as it is. You just don't want to get in a scrimmage that doesn't really mean a ton, and especially it was for a lot of fans. There was a lot of on to victory donors that were there. That you're not going to put a lot on tape anyway in front of those guys. So play it a little bit safer, I guess.
Kyle Rush is with us. You can find him on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5. You also find him on The Barn Auburn. You can subscribe right there. Just $1 to get you started. Great content coming. Top Button Podcast, Village Vice, much, much more coming along. Your biggest concern is what? So I ask you, what's your biggest takeaway? What's the biggest concern you think Auburn has right now? That if Auburn fans could snap their fingers, or Hugh Freeze could snap his fingers, he would fix that area of concern in this camp?
So there's been 2 public scrimmages this year so far. You've had A-Day, and then you had, I guess, this one, which was a little bit more public than normal with like I said, with On to Victory NIL folks there. For two public scrimmages in a row, Auburn's really had a tough time running the ball, which is incredible to think based off last year when they were able to run on pretty much anybody with virtually zero passing game. So the middle of the offensive line, I'm a little bit concerned about. It seemed like they were able to get beat quite often, a lot of pressure right up the middle. So I think, believe it or not, you got a sort of almost like a whole returning offensive line. But I would say out of everything that I've seen, that may be maybe a little bit of a cause for a slight cause for concern. But again, after you saw how well they ran the ball last year, you wonder if it's just this format that kind of makes it tougher, where it's not 100% full contact, and running backs aren't really allowed to, or not really allowed. They're not able to break tackles as soon as they get touched or down. So I don't know. That's kind of something I got my eye on.
What stuck out to you on the defensive side of the ball on Saturday?
Pass rush. Holy cow. Pass rush and defensive backs. There's like 10 guys in the defensive backfield. They're all 6'2", 200 pounds. It's crazy. It's like you had a 3D printer and printed a bunch of copies out there. It's amazing. And a lot of them are young guys, and they're getting a lot of experience. But pass rush, Auburn, I feel like pass rush has been kind of an Achilles heel for Auburn's defense over the past several years. Last year, they had a lot of sacks, but they had to manufacture a lot of them, like with blitzes and things like that. I think you got 2 guys, Jalen McLeod, who's finally healthy, and Arkansas State transfer Kieron Crawford, who is physically one of the more impressive kids on the whole field. I think you're really going to be able to rush the passer with 4 guys. I don't think you're going to have to leave anybody vulnerable to be able to get pressure on the quarterback this year. I'm excited to see how that pass rush translates when it's game time.
Okay, in the opener, Peyton Thorne and the guys that go out and they take care of business. It's time to throw the 2s out there. In your opinion, right now, as we sit here, what is this, August 12th? As we sit here August 12th, who's the second quarterback that goes on the field in your opinion?
I don't think there's any question right now. It's Hank Brown. Early in the 7-on-7 period, when the first team receivers would go out there, Peyton and Hank rotated with first team, and then it would go, the second guys would go with the second and third team. And I think Hank may have even got some reps with some of the ones during the actual scrimmage portion. But I think Hank Brown is 100% the second guy. And there's a lot to like about Hank. Hank's got a little bit of a gunslinger mentality about him. I think it may get him in trouble at sometimes, but he makes quick decisions. He's not afraid to sling it down the field, and he's, he looks the part of a quarterback. He's, 6'4", 200 plus pounds. I think it's sort of, it's his job as the number 2 guy, and he's going to be nipping at Peyton's heels, I think, all fall.
All right, a new Village Vice going up. I think Little T told me she's on with you tonight. Am I right about that, Kyle?
That's for tomorrow's show, Taylor Tuesdays.
Taylor Tuesdays.
Taylor Tuesdays.
I mean, we have put Kyle and Taylor together already. This is going to be incredible.
I'll go ahead and
It's gonna
tell
be
you,
electric.
Yeah.
There's no way you'll get Taylor Korn to wear a golf shirt buttoned all the way up. I don't. She'll be in some kind of hoodie, I guarantee you.
Taylor Tuesdays. The passion for Auburn on that show will ooze right through. I promise you that.
You better bring your lunchbox if you're going to try to out Auburn Taylor Korn.
All right, thebarnauburn.com. You can sign up for as low as $1 right now and see how you like it, and then pick up the subscription, just $9.99 a month. And then we've also got an annual subscription as well, and you'll get a good-looking T-shirt with that one, that good-looking Barn T-shirt. You can see it all right there at thebarnauburn.com. Great video content that some will be free, some will be subscription-based, and the behind the paywall there, message board with all the Auburn info, a lot of what Kyle just talked about, plus much more from the scrimmages Saturday right there at thebarnauburn.com. All right, Kyle, thanks, brother. Have a great week.
You too, guys. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. Kyle Rush with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Charlie 5, right there at thebarnauburn.com.
That guy's going to be a star, man. He's got a personality. I like him a lot. He, you know what I love about where we are in
society,
in Alabama and Auburn right now?
Oh, where?
That I was on both of those message boards reading, and at some point on both sites, somebody's like, I want a little bit more basketball coverage.
Oh, wow.
How about if we just slow down? It's football season, guys.
It's August.
Hey, I know we're all excited about basketball. We're all excited about basketball. Can we just let's put the old football season in perspective here? We're 12 days from week 0 kickoff. We'll get to basketball. Just don't wish football season away. Basketball will go on long enough. We'll get to all the content there, but not just football. Basketball content will be there as well. Clint Lamb, who does not button his shirts all the way to the top. A lot of chest hair coming up in our next segment. Show being brought to you by our man.
About the contrast.
Clint's chest hair in 3D coming up in the next segment. Dr. B.
Speaking of hair.
Hoping Brown's hair grows like Clint's chest hair.
Mine and Lance's. Dr. B taking care of that and getting us that new head of hair. T3hair.net is the website you go to, T3hair.net. Now, here's how it all starts with Dr. B. You're going to go in, you're going to do that evaluation, and they're going to find the best method to grow your hair back naturally. It's not just what everybody else uses. It's not what the last person in the office used. It's what works best for you. T3hair.net is the website to go get started and get that free consultation right there from Dr. B. He, for both Lance and I, has us on, I just call it like the electric light hat. It's a hat you wear, the UV rays, it grows your hair back. Scott is showing it to you right there. It's amazing technology. Dr. B has it right there. T3hair.net is the place to go get started. T3hair.net.
By the way, for Auburn, a couple of decommitments to keep an eye on. Christian Garrett decommitted from Georgia. There'll be interest in this state for the Bogart, Georgia 4-star defensive lineman. And Auburn reportedly is one of 2 SEC schools interested in Notre Dame decommitment, 4-star quarterback Deuce Knight. So a couple of things to keep an eye on there at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com, when it comes to recruiting news there. Clint Lamb coming up in the next segment. We will get to him. I did want to ask you guys a little bit, if I can, about Florida State and the ACC going to mediation this week, Brownie. Ross Dellinger reporting that they will have a mediator, a neutral mediator, to sort of begin to talk about Florida State's exit from the ACC, the potential exit there. Your thoughts on what's going on there?
My thoughts are that I still don't know if Florida State exits the SEC, where they enter. Right?
If they leave the ACC, you don't know where they're going.
Yeah, it's the old, you ever go down the interstate and you hit that exit ramp and for some reason it doesn't have an on-ramp on the other side?
Oh, it doesn't happen much, but it's happened to me a couple of times.
Like you need gas and you dive out and you realize, there for some reason, I don't know why they do this. They didn't build an on-ramp on this exit. So now I've got to go like back roads to get back. That's Florida State right now. You can get to the exit ramp. There's potentially a way to get to the exit ramp, but there's no guarantee that you can get back up on the interstate. And that's what I don't really, I guess that's step one, though. You got to be free before you can negotiate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what the win is for FSU after this.
Well, the win would be ending up in the SEC or the Big Ten, and I just don't know, EG, that there's a path to that.
Yeah. For the SEC, they've already got Florida. I don't know if there's enough money from TV dollars for them. Adding Florida State would help them at all. Maybe it is for the Big Ten. I don't know what their TV contract is. I know they have a clause carved out for Notre Dame. If they add Notre Dame, they get X amount of dollars in their TV contract with Fox. I don't know if adding Florida State in the state of Florida gives them extra money in the Big Ten. So I don't know what Florida State's end game is, but that goes to a mediator this week to start the process of possibly Florida State leaving that with a couple of lawsuits pending out there. One other thing, which day is it this week that Auburn's going to be talking about their in-helmet communications?
That'll be Wednesday. I'll be in Auburn chatting about that.
Yeah, so she'll be on campus Wednesday with Auburn. Tyler, can you give me cut number 4 real quick? Cut 4, Josh Heupel. He is the Tennessee. Is that possible? Yeah, we can do that. Josh Heupel. He's the Tennessee head coach. Another thing that we haven't discussed a lot on. We've got iPads that'll be able to be used on the sidelines this year. Not only in-helmet communications, but the iPads on the sidelines, so you can get real-time look at video from the game. You can sit there and coach them up. Josh Heupel was asked about those iPads on the sidelines, and he has one concern. Listen in.
You talk about the iPad stuff. I mean, high schools have been doing that for a while. I mean, does it help that a lot of these kids, it may be new to, the college game, but the high school game, they're kind of used to it.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the coaches than I am the players, to be honest. It's a better tool than somebody having to draw something up on the whiteboard. So visual learners always, and so it'll be a good tool as long as you use it the right way as a coach.
Yeah, so you got the iPads where you can do that on the sidelines, the in-helmet communication, the 2-minute warning, all these new things.
Feel like we're the NFL.
It does feel like the NFL.
I will say, though, if you've gone to any high school games recently, the vast majority of high schools now have a tent set up on the sidelines with a TV where they're doing video review after every possession. And, I mean, they were already doing this on the high school level, like the question said. It's kind of weird that they weren't on the college level.
Yeah. So you've got
not the iPads necessarily.
Yeah. NFL and the high school were doing it.
And college was like, no, we're still going to draw it on a white erase board. Let's do it old school.
All right. Clint Lamb, I have seen him in the preview. No button-up shirt today. We'll talk to Clint Lamb with the intel he and his guys have at covercrimson.com from Alabama's scrimmage over the weekend. You heard from Kalen DeBoer earlier what Clint breaks down for us on the other side. The show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, as you get older, as you age from your 20s to your 30s to 40s, and so on. So many things you want to stay on top of, and that's what our friends at UCA want to help you out with. 35 urologists, 16 locations across Alabama, treating all of your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones. They'll take care of you. Call that number, 205-930-0920, or go online to urologycentersalabama.com to schedule an appointment at a UCA location near you. That's urologycentersalabama.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Excitement awaits at Barber Motorsports Park for the Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. It's a high-octane weekend you won't want to miss. Witness some of the most iconic sports cars like Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, and Ferrari battling it out on the track.
Enjoy the beer gardens, kids zone, and don't forget to bring your dog for bark at the park on Saturday. The Fanatec GT World Challenge America, September 6th through the 8th. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets today.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Back with you on the next round. Let's talk to Clint Lamb about what's going on at Alabama as we get ready for the season. A reminder for you, though, AP poll drops in about 35 minutes, unless it's already dropped. I don't think it has.
They said 12 Eastern.
Yeah. So
last time I checked, that's 11 Central.
Top of the hour. We'll have that for you at the top of the hour. We'll break down what the AP voters say. Alabama 5 in the coaches. We'll see if they inch up or fall backwards with the media voters coming up.
Clint Lamb with us now. Clint R. Lamb on Twitter. You find him at Cover Crimson. That's our Alabama site, covercrimson.com.
Did I call him Clint Black a few seconds ago?
I don't think you did.
I don't think so.
Clint, did Jim call you Clint Black? Did you catch that?
If he did, I didn't take no offense to it. I'll tell you that.
I hear you. Take that paycheck for dang sure.
The lights are on, but nobody's home, my friend. Yeah.
So, Clint, I'll start with you the way we started with Kyle. There was an open practice for Alabama, so you've seen that, but there was also a scrimmage. Can you, from those two, from your scrimmage intel plus the open practice, just your single biggest takeaway from that?
Single biggest takeaway. I would probably say Ron Williams is going to be a part of Alabama's offense this year, just from what we saw and what we heard. Not only did he have the 50-yard touchdown catch that everybody heard about, he has been providing a lot for others as far as just the fact that he commands such a presence, and he's a player that you have to account for regardless of where he's lining up, regardless of what he's doing. That's creating some opportunities for others. And then we get to the open practice, and I was shocked to see that it was Ron Williams, Caleb Adams, and Cole Adams and Jeremy Bernard, who were the three receivers. I'm not saying that means they're going to be the starters come week one, but I do think it's interesting because they need to kind of solidify some depth, and I think they're doing that with some of these other guys. It's just a matter of determining what the pecking order is. But right now, it has to be that the 5-star freshman Ron Williams, who I originally thought might take a little while just because he's a 17-year-old, supposed to be going into a senior year, and he's playing at the one of the top programs in college football, and he stepped on campus from pretty much day one and been making an impact.
Clint, those of us who have been at Alabama's practices, we have kept an eye on Caleb Odom, tight end turned wide receiver. What did you see from him on Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the one-handed catch is what everybody's been talking about. And it kind of just, the catch radius is unbelievable. Being 6'5", close to 230 pounds, very athletic kid, can get up in the air. You have to have a unicorn type of defender to be able to cover a player like that. He's such a mismatch problem. And with you losing a player like Amari Nablack, do you really have that size, height, weight, speed player within your offense who can really do a lot of that stuff? And right now, I've been vocal about it. I don't really think that Alabama does. They've got plenty of options in the passing game. I think they're going to be extremely effective and efficient in the passing game, but just having that mismatch problem that you force defenses over the course of the week as they're preparing for you to take into account and have to spend a lot of resources figuring out how they're going to stop. That's one thing that Amari Nablack did for Alabama's offense last year. And eventually, I don't know if it'll be a day one kind of thing like it is with Ryan Williams, but eventually Caleb Odom could be that guy for Alabama in 2024. So, I mean, he's been extremely impressive. Like I said, the size stands out. but also just he kind of has that dog mentality. He's not just a player who lives off of name, lives off of his physical abilities. He wants to get better. He's gotten a lot better throughout the course of his time at Alabama, even though it's been pretty brief. And I think that he'll end up making an impact at some point in 2024. I just don't know exactly when it'll be.
I'm interested on just through this scrimmage and the camp so far, is there a player that maybe he's not getting talked about enough that you think now should be in everybody's conversation?
Well, I will say that I was extremely impressed with James Smith yesterday. And the reason that he might not be the perfect answer for this question is because Alabama has a lot of depth with the interior of their defensive line. Like you got Tim Smith, you got Jaheim Otis, who's come back from injury and has looked pretty good from what we've heard. You've got Tim Keenan, who I think is a very underrated player in the SEC. And then you've got, Damon Payne as well. So you got 4 guys ahead of him right now. But when you talk about having a deep rotation of interior defensive linemen, James Smith is one of those guys from a consistency standpoint. He's got to continue to improve, and he's got to do the little things on a down-to-down basis where he can be trusted. But when it comes to just getting in one-on-one matchups, having that explosive first step like he has, very few offensive linemen can get him blocked consistently, and we saw that in the open practice on multiple occasions. I think out of all the defensive players that I saw, when you talk about flash, no one flashed more than James Smith, in my opinion. So it's a matter of where does he fit into the rotation? Is he a kind of a 2025 guy? Is he more of a, he gets some snaps maybe in mop-up duty, but is he a heavy part of the rotation? I don't know, but I do think whether it be in 2024 or for his future, we need to be talking a lot more about James Smith because he's a very disruptive player. Fits exactly what Kane Womack wants to do defensively, getting away from that 2-gap, kind of defensive system to a 1-gap penetrating, attacking mentality. James Smith is a perfect interior defensive lineman for that, and he just, needs to continue to work on the consistency side.
That's the kind of stuff you get at covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com, Clint Lamb and his team over there. LT Overton, the kid from Texas A&M. I saw him on the sidelines at the Rose Bowl. He was excited to be with Alabama. He is still there. What are you hearing about LT's camp?
Yeah, he's been an impactful player too. He had a really good scrimmage. The fact that he was such a big player, 6'5", 265 pounds for Texas A&M, has that edge ability. And him kind of coming over to Alabama when Nick Saban was going to be the coach, you've kind of foresaw his role changing a little bit, becoming more of that 3-4 style of defensive lineman, definitely playing some out on the edge like you saw with Justin Aboybe, but, more of a 4-eye, 5 technique type of role. He's going to be playing a little bit further out in this type of defense in a 2-point stance, kind of, playing more of an outside linebacker type of situation. And, I think that fits him perfectly. He's got the ability to hold up as a run defender. He's now, I want to say, like 283 pounds, perfect for that bandit position. And they need some juice off the edge, and I think he provides that maybe more so than any of the other bandits currently. I think Keon Keeley's ceiling is probably, as high or maybe even a little bit higher. But right now, Overton and his ability to affect the quarterback is going to be absolutely huge because we know they're going to get a pretty consistent pass rush regardless of who it is over on the other side from that Wolf position. But really the point of having that bandit is you want to have a bigger body player who can hold up against the run, but you don't want to sacrifice too much as far as your pass rush. And so a guy like, LT Overton, I think is going to be a huge part about Alabama's defense this year and certainly fit into the SEC.
Clint R. Lamb on Twitter is where you follow Clint. Clint R. Lamb. You get all this content now at covercrimson.com. You can join for $1 up front and then $9.99 per month after that, and a $99 option for an annual membership, covercrimson.com. He and Mick already have a video up, the Cover Crimson YouTube channel. They've got a video up there and more to come. Plenty of video content from Clint, including what a lot of people are so excited about. He and Chris Marler back together. Vern Funquist. Right. So many people excited about that. I am going to go left or right on the offensive line. You stop me when I get to a position that you think is not absolutely locked down as of now. All right. So
if you go left to right, I can tell you where he's going to stop.
Well,
I go right to left. This will be a short conversation.
Well, I start on the left side for one reason, but I want to see if all these others are on lockdown. Caden Proctor, Tyler Booker, Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts. He didn't stop me yet, Jim. Wilkin Formby, is that the only one that's not on lockdown right now? Is Wilkin Formby at right tackle?
That's the only one right now. And I mean, I certainly still think Elijah Pritchett's involved in that conversation, and it's still very much competition. But from everything that we've seen, Wilkin Formby has continued to work as like the first guy up. I know Elijah Pritchett has seen action with the first team offense, that's making that switch from left tackle to right tackle, but right tackle. That's something that, you certainly need to be monitoring. But with the interior of the offensive line too, at least in the open practice, Tyler Booker didn't really participate at all. Jaden Roberts didn't participate. The other three did, and Elijah Pritchett did as well. And you saw Gino Vandermark end up playing some left guard. You saw Rock Montgomery playing right guard. They've been playing center right guard, kind of swapping back and forth throughout fall camp. So I think they're, Sunday's open practice, to me, you saw a lot of guys get held out. And it was the day after a scrimmage. That's not overly surprising whatsoever. But what it did do was, it was kind of a depth building practice where you got a lot of those younger guys reps or other guys reps. And I think from a depth standpoint, being in the SEC at some of these critical positions, whether it be corner, whether it be offensive line, it was a very important practice. And you're starting to see that offensive line come together. Right tackle has still not been figured out, but it's not that they don't have options and they're trying to find somebody to step up. They have a couple of really good options. And it's just determining who's the best one and who's going to actually be in the starting lineup.
Clint, I heard that Coach DeBoer said a little bit of Saban after the scrimmage on Saturday. What was your biggest takeaway from the press conference he held?
He does have a little bit of Saban in him, and it's fascinating to me because, he understands how to navigate questions so well. And he'll give you information, but he's not going to go out of his way to highlight certain players. He was asked about his biggest concern about the team as of right now. He ended up saying staying healthy. And I mean, it's like that's like the obvious choice. I mean, obviously it's a true answer, but it didn't reveal anything. And I think that was smart. Like if you're him, you don't want to be highlighting any concerns or issues if you don't have to. So he's a very intelligent guy as far as how he answers questions, how he handles the media. And I think that he's not giving us too much. It's very difficult to walk away from one of his press conferences and say, I think we got a ton of information there. But if you can read between the lines on some things, you can take away quite a bit. And I think that's exactly what not only did we do in that press conference, but also what we'll be doing moving forward.
Really amazing Bandit Wolf explanation from Clint over at covercrimson.com. You also threw out your offensive and defensive depth chart projections before the first scrimmage. I won't get into it too much, but my grandmother used to love the game Yahtzee, where you have all the dice and you put them in that little cup.
I hated that game.
You would shake it.
It was like
a
leather cup too. Yeah.
Well, she made us use the cup. I just wanted to hold them in my hand and throw them on the board, but she wanted us to use the cup and roll it out there. And she didn't like it if you just turned the cup upside down. She wanted you to roll it on the table.
Granny was a ball buster.
Is that she was? She used to weld ships in World War II.
Okay.
Would you want to? It's almost like a game of Yahtzee with the defensive backfield, in my opinion. I don't know who the heck's gonna be back there. A lot of talent back there. Not to give away everything, but you need to give everyone a little taste of what you're getting behind the paywall. What kind of intel do you have about that defensive backfield right now? Like starting corners. If we were starting the season tomorrow, who do you think the two corners would be?
Yeah, I think Damani Jackson is going to be one of them. I think he's going to be playing that fill corner position. He's really good at playing in space. Very athletic guy, fits it to a T. As far as the boundary, that's more of still a competition, a TBD. A guy like Deshaun Jones, the transfer from Wake Forest, he actually got quite a bit of run with the first team defense during the scrimmage. That's not surprising. He's a transfer. He was brought in to compete for a starting job. But I also found it fascinating in the open practice. Zabian Brown in the reps that he was getting, he was playing pretty much exclusively the boundary. Deshaun Jones, I noticed he was playing field and boundary. And I mean, they're still determining depth. Like you don't want to be, you don't want to have to go to your fourth best guy because your third best guy is specifically a field or a boundary guy. So you want to have some guys who have some versatility, but a guy like Deshaun Jones getting work at both, I think that could be very valuable. If it ends up being Zabian Brown who ends up starting on the boundary, a guy like Deshaun Jones, he's got experience at both. If either one of your two starters goes down, he can come in and be that number 3 guy. And then Jalen Mbakwe played a lot of field from what I saw. He's an extreme athlete as well. Really, had some rawness to his game, played a lot of different positions in high school. So I thought he might take a little bit longer than he's taking, but I think he's actually coming along quite nicely. and could end up having a role or make some sort of impact in 2024. So there are a lot of different players who are still in that competition. I think Damani Jackson is the one that you can pretty much bank on is going to be a starter. If I'd have guessed today, I'd probably say it's going to be Xavier Brown, but Deshaun Jones is in that conversation. And I think even Jalen Mbakwe, could add some depth there as well. So I think it's got the chance to be a really good secondary. And with their cornerback room, if they can get that figured out, the offensive line's come along really nicely. I think the wide receivers, any questions that anybody had about that position, I think, those concerns have been alleviated. Corner's really the only one that people are looking at and saying, okay, who's going to end up being the guys? If they can get not only some starting caliber players there, but also some depth options in case they got to work into it a little bit, I think this team has a real chance to compete for a national championship.
In the mybookie.ag chat room, Keith says Granny can play by her damn self with that kind of attitude.
Yeah, nope. She made the play.
No, not the way that worked.
She was the person that would bring that switch out of the front yard.
I cringed, Clint, as he set this up. I swear I thought you were going to go with the Yanzi Pierre question.
Me too.
Did you 100% guess what he was saying? So Clint even thought it, yeah.
We talked about it before the show, that a guy that's hitting out, Yanzi Pierre, and I was like, I remember his name because of Yahtzee.
Yeah, I thought
you called him
Dunaway.
audible there.
Yeah.
So
that was a nice pivot, actually. Yeah, it was well done.
If I run the ball right and I just keep running right, guys, we're never going to score. It's the old cutback.
Yeah. All right, Clint Lamb, at Clint R. Lamb on Twitter. Go to covercrimson.com, see the content. It is going to be daily video content, that message board up. You can join with an introductory offer right now for $1 for the first month. $1 for the first month, covercrimson.com. Clint, Stacey Blackwood, Jake Coker, part of it, of course. Mick Gillespie is there. Mike Johnson, we're excited his contribution during the season. We got a lot planned over there at covercrimson.com.
Nick's, I'm sorry, too soon.
What?
Nick's, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Chris Marley. Did I say Chris Marley?
Yeah, Chris Marley.
Yeah, Chris Marley. Yeah, Vern Funquist. Clint, thank you very much for the time.
Absolutely, fellas. Good talking to you.
All right, we'll see you soon. Covercrimson.com is the website. Covercrimson.com. Go join now.
Yeah, and the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Inverness Country Club as well.
It is a great club home. If you are in the market for that new club home, Inverness Country Club needs to be that for you. Inverness Country Club right now is growing mostly in that young member group, the young families that are joining there. That's not all it's limited to. Anybody can join there, but those young families are loving what they see. They've got memberships that fit everyone, a social membership, resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music Friday nights. They got a Sunday brunch, of course, the sports with tennis and pickleball, the golf with that beautiful course, the currently expanding driving range. That's where they're working right now. Great place to meet others in the community. Great place just to hang out and have a great time as well. They've even got childcare. That is a huge plus. You're out to play 9. You want to play golf, you want to play tennis, you just need a business lunch. They've got a great childcare there. Here's what you need to do. You need to go take a tour and see all of this for yourself. A couple ways to do that. Number one, you can call Aaron today, 205-991-8608, 205-991-8608, or just go online, iccalabama.com.
Jeff, I can tell you one thing. We probably should release at least one thing every day this week. Of things that's coming, more stuff is coming this fall.
Okay.
I will tell you that Monday Morning Live will be back.
Well, why didn't you wait for that to be the thing we release tomorrow?
Because they're wanting something today.
Well,
we haven't released anything today.
All right.
And that's the one thing I know.
Monday Morning Live.
Monday Morning Live is coming back.
ESPN's Tom Luganville.
7 a.m. Central Time, reaction live to the show. We'll be doing that reaction live to the weekend action. 7 a.m. for your drive-in. So if you're caught in the car on your way to work and want some football talk about what happened over the weekend, or if you're getting ready and want to throw it on the YouTube, on the big screen, smart TV at home, you can do that as well. 7 a.m. Tom Luganville, Monday Morning Live returning this year. More announcements coming throughout the week.
That's one a day, according to Jim.
Why not? We can just keep dropping nuggets, man.
All right.
We'll have more. A bunch. We can't. Too many for one a day.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah. When we come back, we'll knock out our 4 downs today, and the AP poll comes out at the top of the hour. Should be noted that the FCS rankings are out, and boy, do they love their football on the FCS level up near the Canadian border. Number 1 in the FCS preseason rankings, South Dakota State.
You know who they get week 1?
Who?
Oklahoma State. So Oklahoma State plays number 1.
So it's not South Dakota, it's South Dakota State?
Or whichever one is number 1 plays Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Is it South Dakota or South Dakota State?
South Dakota State is number 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay.
Number 2 is North Dakota State.
You know who they get week 1?
Prime time.
They get Colorado. I mean, that's 2. Like, if you're going to play an FCS team, I do not know why you play good ones. Seriously, though, you get nothing out of it.
I agree.
I'm going to play a crappy FCS team. I'm not going to play one that could possibly beat me, and those are tough games.
Pull your maps out at home. South Dakota State's 1. North Dakota State is 2. Montana is number 3. Montana State is number 4. South Dakota is number 5.
It's pretty wild that area just dominates FCS now.
By the way, Idaho is number 7.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering about, you did South Dakota State, you did South Dakota, you did North Dakota State. What about poor North Dakota?
Yeah.
Well, they're only like 17, but they're still a top 20 team.
Yikes.
There's the FCS, the top of the rankings. Villanova, not just a basketball school, is number 6.
Also not near Canada.
Finally, near the South, Chattanooga's 8, Furman 9, no Samford in the top 25 to start off the season.
I'm telling you, man, Oak State gets number 1 and Colorado gets number 2 on the FCS level. If you're going to play an FCS level team, play a crappy one.
Yep. Good chance Montana State beats New Mexico, by the way. That looks like a week 0 game.
Okay.
Yep. That could be a big upset there if you're looking for an FCS ranking there. Idaho goes to Oregon. They're number 7, and they're playing Oregon. Chattanooga's number 8. They're playing at Tennessee. Furman's number 9. They're at Ole Miss.
Ooh.
Both of y'all. No, Furman ain't staying on the field with Ole Miss. Like those top 2, I could see North Dakota State beating Colorado. I could not see South Dakota State beating Oklahoma State. Probably closer than you want a week 1 FCS game to be. They're not going to lose that game, though.
So there's no way Furman not staying on the field with
Furman
Ole Miss.
ain't staying on the field with Ole Miss.
Will you give me 29 and a half?
I will right now. For a Diet Coke back here from the machine?
For Diet Coke. I'll take Furman plus 29 and a half.
All right.
29 and a half.
A Diet Coke bet, yes.
All right. Show being brought to you today in part by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, he had a trip up north for a little football, and he's back on people's roof today. Hope you can get Greg on your roof soon. He's the owner, he and his wife, of Storm Restoration Roofing, locally owned for over 20 years. Our buddy Greg from Pell City is A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's trusted by insurance agents, which helps you so much. I've got a friend who he worked for months to make sure they paid the insurance company 100% of her roof replacement, and he had to go to bat for her, and it worked. He'll do that for you as well. He gives you a absolutely free, no obligation roof inspection where he gets up there and tells you what's going on your rooftop. If you look at that house there in Odenville to the left, that roof's way up there. Greg's not afraid of height. He ain't scared. He'll get up there and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. He handles storm repairs and roof replacements as well. 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or just look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City.
Follow Jon Lunceford on Twitter at jlunce.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
Jon Lunceford standing in for Tyler on his way back. Rockstar back with us tomorrow. Lunceford, can I ask you a question real quick? When I asked you for celebrity birthdays earlier, we just looked at them. They look like a horrible list of celebrity birthdays. Did you find a better one?
No, it is a very bad list.
I mean, if you know YouTube stars,
that's it.
It's a big
you
day.
Talk about Dixie D'Amelio. That was the first one I saw.
That was the only one.
And I said, who is Dixie D'Amelio?
I just happen to know her from Instagram. She pops up. I don't follow her. She just occasionally pops up. So she must be in the same cycle with somebody I follow.
Do you know who Charlie D'Amelio is?
No. I don't even know what Dixie D'Amelio is famous for.
They're the TikTokers.
Yeah, they're like some of the first famous TikTokers.
Are they like a family that does like, here's what we do every day? I hate those.
They're like my age, roughly.
They got famous for dancing on TikTok when it first blew up, like COVID and all that.
I tell you what, if you follow like any of those families that are like, here's the behind the scenes of us every day on TikTok, a lot of those end bad.
Yeah.
Like they end up in divorces, or they don't really have the money they're purporting to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're living hundreds of thousands in debt just to look rich.
There's a husband-wife team. I don't remember the name of them now, but apparently they get dressed up and it's what they're wearing to go.
Pookie and Jet.
Oh, it's Pookie and Jet.
Yeah,
Pookie's got a biscuit in the oven.
She does.
She does? She's pregnant?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
I've been paying attention, Jim. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Jim.
Well, at least
hey, she still looks ravishing, though.
Pookie looks fire today.
She looks fire. It is quintessential pregnant Pookie.
Yes.
She's surprised I know this.
4 Downs is brought to you every day by our friends at Slice Pizza. 5 great locations, Brownie.
SliceBirmingham.com is where you find them. Some of those unique pizzas from the mind of our great friend, the late Jeff Bajalia. He created these pizzas, the wing and a prayer, the soul pie, which is my favorite, Kaneka sausage, turnip greens, black-eyed peas. It is a phenomenal pizza. So many good ones. You could find a location near you, 5 in the Birmingham area, SliceBirmingham.com. That is SliceBirmingham.com.
Tyler pops up that music.
First down.
Hits us with the first down there. I will ask you this. Positive baseball news, so bear with me here, E.g. Aaron Judge
So it can't be the Braves.
Aaron Judge plays with the Yankees.
I'm
He
aware.
hits his 42nd home run on Sunday.
Right.
If I put his over-under home runs for the season at 59.5, does he get into the 60s or not into the 60s? E.g. you first.
He said 42nd home run?
It is 42nd
Yesterday.
We got a whole month of September and half of this one.
Yeah, I'll say he makes it. Over
Brownie?
60.
Yeah, I think he'll be over 60. They're not going to interrupt football games for this again this time, are they? What was the record he was going for that one time?
Maybe it was for 62, whatever it
I
used
can't.
to be.
You told me it was the American League record. That's why it was a big deal, but it didn't matter to me. And I was getting my football squeezed down into a small box.
I don't think he's going to get it, and here's why. Because I'm going to go under like landmine believer over here because I think they're already pitching around him a lot. Like I think he got walked 4 times in a game the other night.
But the other side of that is the Yankees are in a hotly contested division with the Orioles, and then therefore in the wild card run. So every at bat matters for him too. I mean, he's not going to take a ton of days off.
No, he's not. But
You're saying that pitching wise, they're not.
No,
going
I
to
get
let him
it.
get to that.
Nothing to hit. Nothing.
I get it, but they're tied with the Orioles technically in the AL East right now.
Keith does say they do play the White Sox this week, so we could see some action there.
He might get to 62 in that one series.
Maybe. All right, let's do second down.
Second down.
All right, we were talking about Bo Nix's debut in the Broncos preseason game. Jarrett Stidham is there, but if you play 17 regular season games that Bo Nix starts at quarterback for the Broncos, over under 10.5 this year, where do you go, EG?
Ooh, I'm gonna go under as of right now. I can't really give a good answer as to why I'm picking that over the over, but I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, so you're under 10.5, so you eventually think he either wins the job and loses it or doesn't win the job and then comes in later on.
Yeah, but he did have such a good compelling case this past weekend. I'm actually gonna mix it up. I'm gonna go over.
You're gonna go over 10.5. Jarrett Stidham is loved by Sean Payton.
He is, but the funny thing was, actually, Zach Wilson played better than Jarrett Stidham.
I forgot about Zach Wilson.
I mean, I still think it's down to Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. It'll be interesting. Who do the Broncos get this week, Jim? To see, number one, what do they do with the snaps? They got the Packers on the 18th. So what is that, Sunday night?
Keith goes over on the Knicks looked really good.
He did look really good.
He did, but you got Broncos-Packers, so I think that'll be a telltale sign with Sean Payton. What does he do with the snaps in the Broncos-Packers game? Does Knicks get the start to evaluate him as a starter with the ones? I think that'll tell you a lot, but if Stidham still gets the start, I think it tells you a lot of what Sean Payton's thinking. I'm going to say I'll take the over, and I am buying into one preseason start, which is a massive mistake to do. I'll take the over. I think Bo Nix starts most of the games.
Yeah, I'm going to go over as well, over the 10.5. Let's do third down.
Third down.
I was reading Bleacher Report on Sunday, and we're still a couple of weeks away from the major final cuts in the NFL roster, but they had these names where they said would likely get cut. I'll save the two for our question, but Bailey Zappi of the Patriots, they expect him to get cut. Robert Woods of the Texans, they expect him to get cut. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, now with Buffalo, they expect him to get cut. They're saying that Anders Carlson of Green Bay could get cut. He was 26 of 33 in field goals last year, 34 of 39 in PATs. He missed a 41-yarder in the divisional playoff game, and they lost by 3 to the 49ers, but they brought in 2 other kickers to push him, and they're saying Carlson could get cut by the Packers.
Boy, the Carlson brothers just don't like that division, do they?
Yeah.
Because Daniel, was drafted by Minnesota, which I thought was a great spot for him. Gets cut, and he's thrived in Oakland.
Yeah, so
or in Vegas.
Not that his
say.
career would be over with. Great point. But here's the question. More surprising if they get cut. Kadarius Toney by Kansas City, the Chiefs, who is on this list, the wide receiver, or Miles Sanders, the 2022 Pro Bowler, who's now with Carolina, who's also on this list. Which would surprise you more? The Chiefs cutting Kadarius Toney or Carolina cutting Miles Sanders? You go first, Brownie.
I think I would go Kadarius Toney because they stuck with him through all the struggles last year and kept him through the offseason. Now, Xavier Worthy, is a guy that everybody thinks is going to be the next Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. So once you get guys like that in the league, I'm surprised that they've stuck with him this long and then would cut him this late in camp.
And I will put my stamp of approval.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I would agrees.
I would tell you when you had Marquise Brown go down, that don't know how serious his injury is yet, but that could leave a door open for Toney to hang around. Miles Sanders, I'm with Paul, would surprise me. 2022 Pro Bowler, didn't have a great year last year in Carolina. I know Chuba Hubbard looks pretty good there, but to me, if you need any weapons you can in Carolina offensively, that would shock me if he ends up getting cut. One more. Let's do fourth down.
Fourth down.
Bad Monkey Bad Monkey.
Pole Assassin?
Bad Monkey is a new series coming out on Apple TV. Vince Vaughn is the lead actor in this. Favorite Vince Vaughn role? I'll start back row with Lunceford first. Lunceford's microphone, then we'll get Forrester's microphone. Favorite Vince Vaughn role? Lunceford.
Wedding Crasher's easy.
Wedding Crasher's easy. I think that's mine as well. What about you, Forrester?
I would have gone Wedding Crashers, but I'll go The Breakup.
The Breakup.
Pretty funny in The Breakup.
You know, that's a dark comedy. That's sad in places, man. That's sad in places. What about you?
I would go Wedding Crashers, but it's already taken, so I'll go Dodgeball.
Dodgeball. 3 good ones from the back room there.
I didn't know that you could only say it once, so I am going Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
This would be 4 for 4 if Scott and Tyler had not invented some sort of rule along the way.
See if you can give me a different one.
No, it's Wedding Crashers.
Okay, what about you?
My favorite one is at when they're at the table with the grandmother and the son, and the son wants to go upstairs and paint.
Yeah.
And Christopher Walken is such a good scene. So awkward. And Vince Vaughn is just trying to make it less awkward. He can't. Such a funny scene.
What about you?
Okay, Couples Retreat is good. I think someone just mentioned the chat. And then the Four Christmases one. That one's funny.
Four Christmas is good. I didn't think you'd go that. Nobody went old school, Brown?
Old school was good, but I like Wedding Crashers more in that genre.
Earmuffs, Tyler. Vince Vaughn, man. Anchorman. So many good ones. I love me some Vince Vaughn.
No, Vince Vaughn's very, very funny.
Love me some Vince
Vaughn. Now, I never watched he was in True Detective. What season was that?
2.
I never watched that.
I think he was in season 2, yeah.
Yeah, was he good in that? Did people think he was good as a serious actor?
I like him. I like him in all the others.
I like him in comedy.
Yeah. All right, AP poll out. We will get to the reaction coming up. That was 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice. All the great locations, perfect for your football season. How easy is it to get a pie from Slice and then go home and watch the greatest sport in the world, college football? We'll talk about the Associated Press Top 25 as it drops live here on the next round. That show, by the way, Bad Monkey. It's Apple TV. Bad Monkey, Apple TV. You can go check it out. New Emily in Paris comes out August 15th.
Is it not Emily in Paris? Is it Emily in Paris?
It's Emily in Paris.
Okay.
Emily in Paris.
We're back in a moment on TNR.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show. The AP poll is out. How embarrassed was I when I walked in and told Taylor, I said, hey, the AP poll's out. Can you get us a graphic? She'd already sent one out at 1 minute after the top of the hour.
Indeed.
I said, how'd you get a graphic built so fast? She was like, I was prepared.
She basically took the coaches poll and said, they'll probably vote about the same as coaches poll. I wanted to move much around.
She was like, I'm a professional, Jim. Don't be so shocked. This hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. I've asked you this for almost a full year. Have you yet to eat Champy's chicken?
Yes, I have eaten it here in the office.
Okay. You've eaten it. Okay,
yes,
we finally got you some.
It's delicious. It's incredible.
Yeah,
I love the tamales.
We got to get you by there in person in Alabaster, Highway 119, to see Sterling and the crew, Megan and the gang back there. Unbelievable customer service. Oh, I'll have it before trash. I've got a picture from 10 years. They've been open at that location for 10 years. I've got a picture of Sterling dressed. Megan gave me these pictures. Sterling dressed as... who was Dwight Schrute's cousin?
Mose.
Dressed as Mose for a Halloween trivia.
So Sterling dressed as Mose Schrute?
Yes. I will
That's
send
fantastic.
I will send it to Forrester in the commercial break.
I'm going to want to see that.
And we will show it before trash coming up. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by for the best fried chicken you've ever put in your mouth. Okay, the AP poll is out. Let's take a look at it. This is the Taylor Korn graphic. Top five stayed the same.
Shocker.
Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and Alabama in at number 5.
Ohio State did get more first place votes in the Associated Press than they did in the coaches. 46 of the 63 went to Georgia, or the 61, excuse me. Let me make sure I've got my math right here. Maybe it's 62. I don't know why it would have changed from last year, but it is 62 for some reason.
Sometimes it's 64. I think they have some people that fall off.
Okay, so 46 of the 62 went to Georgia, 15 of the 62 to Ohio State, and a lone first-place vote to Oregon. Those are the only three that got first-place votes. In the coaches poll, Texas got one, and Michigan got one.
Yep, so Alabama is 5th. Everybody okay with Bama at 5? Any disrespect there?
No. People are like, it's their worst ranking since 2009. They're number 5 in the country. I mean, maybe is their worst ranking. By the way, spot for spot so far.
Yeah, Ole Miss 6, Notre Dame 7.
That's where it changes next.
The Penn State one?
Penn State, yep.
Penn State 8, Michigan 9.
They
a little
flip
flip-flop.
those two, yep.
Florida State is 10. Missouri is 11. Then comes Utah 12, LSU 13.
Those flipped, so they're 4 different.
Clemson 14, Tennessee 15. Oklahoma is 16. Oklahoma State is 17. Kansas State 18.
Those flipped.
Miami is 19. Texas A&M is 20. It's like election night. You're telling me that precinct has flipped in the last hour. Arizona is 21. I just don't see what everyone's seeing in Arizona.
I think they see quarterback coming back and a topsy-turvy Big 12.
Kansas is 22. USC 23. NC State 24. Iowa is in at number 25.
They flipped the order of NC State, USC, and Kansas, basically. Otherwise, it is exactly the coaches poll, which is what happens every year with the AP. What that is you get a lot of voters like, oh, boy, I am vote for vote with a coaches poll. I'll flip LSU and Oklahoma State.
Just to surprise
They'll never
people.
notice.
Oh, do you think so? Some of the media people were, we got one more weekend to get to the beach. And then they get the Ralph Russo email. Remember,
Yeah.
I need your AP poll by
That's right.
Tuesday. And they're like, oh, God, what was the coaches poll?
Well, I think naturally you're like, I think Ole Miss is 6. I mean, is that way out of whack? Well, the coaches had them 6. I'll leave them there. So then, Scott is showing you the side-by-side. Penn State and Michigan, those two got flipped. Utah and LSU, those two got flipped. And Kansas State, Oklahoma State got flipped. And then the last 5 right there are just all the same teams, just a different order in the last 4 with Kansas, NC State, and USC.
So all 25, and Taylor knows this because of the graphics, but all 25 in the preseason coaches poll are in the AP top 25, just a different order.
Yep.
Same 25 teams.
Same 25 teams ranked. So what are the odds of that? What are the odds that everybody goes and votes and the same 25 are ranked?
I mean, this is when I would do a pop quiz of questions not in the book. I'd get the whole class back in there and was like, we're going to do this over with. There's a lot of looking at everybody's piece of paper here. Can you pull up also receiving votes?
I've got it right here, my friend.
Okay, first team just missed the top 25. Who is it, Brown?
The Huskies of Washington.
Oh.
They had 123 points. Iowa had 148. So that's your gap right there.
Okay. Give me the read through 30, 27, 28.
Louisville will be 27th. Virginia Tech 28. SMU 29. Memphis 30. I'll keep going for this reason. Boise State 31. Auburn 32.
Auburn 32 there.
You got Kentucky with 12 points. Florida with 11. South Carolina with 10. So for those that don't know, that means somebody voted, a lot of people actually voted, a lot of people voted Auburn in their top 25. A few people put Kentucky in there, about the same put Florida in there, and about the same put South Carolina in there. It's crazy to think that all those teams got votes, but they all did.
Well, technically, if you put Kentucky, if one person could have put Kentucky 13th,
that would be 12 points, yeah.
That would be 12 points.
Seems kind of high. I would think more people maybe had them in the 25 spot right there, 12 people maybe.
Right.
Or 10 people had them at 25 and somebody had them 24.
So you're getting point totals, not
you get 1 point for 25 and 25 points for 1.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're unanimous number 1, whatever that point total turns out to be. Nebraska got votes. Syracuse got votes. Miami, Ohio got a vote. James Madison got a vote. Air Force got a vote. Troy got a vote.
Wow.
Colorado got 2 votes. So somebody potentially had Colorado 24th, right?
24th.
Yeah. So a lot of people get votes, but only 25 get ranked. And it's the same 25 that the coaches ranked, oddly.
Charles says the runner-up to the national championship not ranked. Has that ever happened before? Even TCU was ranked last year, and they were runner-up, and they got blown out.
Probably not. I think Auburn in 2014 started the season 15th. Does that sound right to you? Well, no, they were the runner-up in 13. I think I'll look where it is, but doesn't that sound right to you? Weren't they about 14 or 15? I think
in 2014
Yeah.
preseason.
Yeah,
they were definitely ranked.
Oh, they were 100% ranked. I'll tell you where they played their first game. They were
because when I went to Clemson, which I think was after
that was week 3, wasn't it?
In 2011, after the national. Oh, you're talking about 2014.
Yeah, I am talking about 2014.
Auburn started 5th in 2014. It says Landmine Believer.
God, they did. I did not remember them being that high.
Because remember, you had Nick Marshall back, right?
They lost. They were all the way up to number 2 when Mississippi State beat them. Yeah. I guess I was thinking about 2011, but they were the national champion that year.
They were national champions in 2011, and they were still ranked pretty high when I was with them at Clemson. At Clemson.
As the national champion, Auburn started the season in 2011, number 23. God, I did not remember them ranked that low. Actually fell out. They kind of slopped around against Utah State, if you remember. They fell out. They beat Mississippi State, jump back in. They were 21st at Clemson when they lost 38-24.
Yeah, that was their first loss,
Yep.
right? Yeah. More AP. We'll do the overranked, underranked on the AP poll, which we always do, after Brownie tells us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. The eye surgery that made LT have fighter pilot vision a few years ago.
The old fighter pilot.
Yeah.
You could get fighter pilot vision yourself. Lance went from nearly legally blind to fighter pilot vision, all thanks to LASIK surgery from Michelson Laser Vision. Might be right for you, might not be right for you. You know how you find out? You call Amy, 969-8100, and tell her you want to see if you can get that fighter pilot vision that Lance had, 205 969-8100 or go to michelsonlaservision.com. It's Dr. Jennifer and Mark Michelson. Dr. Mark Michelson is the dad. Jennifer is the daughter, and they have teamed up to be pioneers. Dr. Mark Michelson, a pioneer in this field. michelsonlaservision.com, 969-8100.
All right. Let's squeeze one in. Judd from McCalla wants to talk about college football scheduling. How you doing, Judd?
It's actually Jerry.
Hey, man. How are
That's
you?
close. We got the right person.
Yeah.
I got a question. I was looking at the SEC schedule the other day, and I was wondering who determines this. You know, I went across the board, the whole Southeastern Conference, and only Auburn, and I think it was Kentucky, have 8 home games. Everybody else is 7, and they all get 2 bye weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, does that just swap up every year? It goes.
Well, some of it depends on, like, for instance, Auburn was at Cal this year, and the return trip is this year, and they don't have another big out-of-conference opponent, so it's easier to have. It's one of the reasons they start with 5 home games.
Yeah.
Obviously, the conference home games are set by the conference, but your non-conference home games, you could potentially have all 4 at home if you scheduled it that way.
Yeah, 4 and 4, right? So right now we still have 8, so it's even number. The conference controls the when you play and where you play them and who you play. The conference controls that. So you have 4 home, 4 away. After that, the out-of-conference games, you control that. For Auburn, they've got 8 games this year. They're one of 5 teams that have 8 home games this year in college football.
I must have miscounted bad. But anyway,
Yeah.
That's why this show's number 1. If you got a question, call. You guys can answer it.
All right, Jerry. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Jerry. We don't get the
Thank
name.
you.
We don't get your damn name right, though, Jerry.
That's right. That's the one thing we messed up.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right. So overrated, underrated teams. Pull up, if you will, for me, full screen again on the AP Top 25, and we'll just go down the road. We'll get 5, but give me just the first team you think is overrated, Brown. Most overrated team.
I don't think Ole Miss will finish 6th in the country. So by virtue of that, I think those top 5 will finish in or around the top 5. Now, I think Ole Miss will be in the 10 to 12 range. So it's not badly overrated, but I think 6 is a touch overrated for the Rebs.
Who's an overrated team, Emily Grace?
I would also say Ole Miss, if we're going by your outlook of if they'll finish in that spot. I think right now they look really good. I think there's a lot of excitement there. Notre Dame at 7 is interesting to me, I would say.
When you look at their schedule, though,
it's favorable.
It is favorable. They could finish the year 7, maybe not be the 7th best team in the country, but could easily finish there with that schedule going into the playoffs.
Those are my 2.
Most overrated team for me. I'm going to go. I know Missouri's schedule's easy, but I'm going to go Missouri. You're literally going to have to show me, Brown.
But I say this, Jim, with that schedule, they're at 11th. If they finish 10-2, where do you think they're going to be ranked?
They're going to be ranked
higher than 11th.
In the top 11, for sure, yeah.
I get you what you're saying. I don't know that they're the 11th best team in the country, but when I look at that schedule, I think they could certainly finish there.
Give me another one, Brown. Who else do you think maybe is overrated? I've already mentioned, I'm going to throw Arizona. I don't think Arizona finishes the season ranked.
Overrated. I'm not sure. Michigan would have to be 10-2-ish to be 9th. I don't think Michigan gets to 10-2. I don't think they're badly overrated at 9th, but I don't think they'll finish.
But if they're 9-3, where are they? 12,
that's what I'm
13,
saying.
14,
They're probably 12, 13, 14. So it's
Yeah.
not badly overrated. I got a couple bad underrateds for you, though.
Yeah, I have underrated as well.
Okay, let's do this. Give me an underrated, guys. You guys have an underrated?
I got 2 of them, EG.
EG, start us off.
All right, I kind of bend this way to see what I'm looking at here. I think A&M might be a little underrated. And we've talked
20?
At 20, we've talked about it a little bit. And I think that's one of those teams that could really be a surprise to people. I think that talent-wise,
Jacob disagrees with you. Jacob with a K.
seems a little high.
A&M seems a little high in the mybookie.ag.
I don't know, because then you're saying Miami is too low, but I do think that A&M and maybe Tennessee, I think they could be above Clemson. And then some people are saying LSU is overrated. But again, I've had my eye on them.
So at 13, you think LSU could be better than that?
I think LSU could be better than that, but there's a lot of questions. I want to have the LSU conversation after the season with you guys because
Okay.
I've really been on the LSU bandwagon.
Yeah, I like LSU too, E.G. But it seems boom or bust with Nussmeier at quarterback. And I know Kyron at receiver is supposed to step in, and it's wide receiver you, but I just don't know. I mean, you're replacing Malik Neighbors and a tradition of great wide receivers. Do they have that guy again, and can Nussmeier deliver?
I've got two. I think Kansas State will be better than 18th at the end of the year. I think this has potential to be a 10-2 team. 10-2 out of the Big 12 is going to have it higher than 18th. I think they can contend. A lot of people are giving that Big 12 playoff spot to Utah. I think Kansas State can get that Big 12 playoff spot. And a team that is not going to be as good as the ranking I'm about to tell you. That was a gun firing West Virginia?
Boomer Sooners.
Oh, Boomer Sooners? Nope.
With their schedule, it's going to be hard for them to be 16th.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, if they're 16th, that's probably 9-3 with that schedule, or might be 8-4. Iowa is going to be better than 25th. Are they better than the 25th best team in the country? I don't think so, but that Iowa schedule will have them higher than 25th.
I don't know, Brown. Forrester, can you give me the? I sent you a Iowa tweet. Did you get that? I don't know if you did or not.
Is it about the pig?
No, it's not. It's Little T actually found this. Here it is. This is from Warren Sharp, who's covering Iowa football. Iowa's QB1 versus his own defense in a scrimmage. Cade McNamara, healthy again, number one. He threw the ball 24 times in their scrimmage, one-on-ones. He had 20 passing yards.
I'm not surprised by this.
8 completions, 0.8 yards per attempt, 33% completion, and 1 pick six.
Their defense is traditionally good now. I want to point that out, that they got a good defense.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's McNamara's unofficial statistics against Iowa's defense. 8 completions, 24 attempts, 20 yards, and an interception for a touchdown. The first big play of the day was the Hawkeyes defensive back Quinn Schluty.
That sounds like a
intercepting
Hawkeye.
a McNamara pass and taking it to pick six from Warren Sharp there on Twitter.
Okay.
Little T sent that to me during the show and said, check this out.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's a reason Cade McNamara could only transfer to Iowa, right? I mean, McNamara could have transferred a lot of places. He ended up at Iowa. All right, but you would think he could transfer to a lot of places. He ended up at Iowa. I'm not saying that Iowa will be top 15 good, but I am saying with this schedule. All right.
Let's hear it.
All right, here it is. I mean, you find me the losses. Illinois State, they host to start the season. Iowa State, they host. They host Troy. They're at Minnesota. I mean, that's not a layup. I think Iowa probably wins that game. After a bye, they're at Ohio State, and they're going to lose. But then they host Washington. They're at Michigan State. They host Northwestern. They host Wisconsin. They're at UCLA. They're at Maryland, and they host Nebraska. I don't see a ton of losses there. I don't think they're going to be very good, but I do not see a ton of losses for Iowa on that schedule.
I think there's 4 there, Brownie.
Where are they?
If you average 0.8 yards per attempt.
I know one will be at Ohio State. They're going to lose that one.
I think maybe Nebraska is a loss.
It could be. I mean, that's at the end of the year and could be for a play. I mean, that could affect the playoff. I mean, if Iowa is, a one-loss team going into, they may not be able to get in the playoff with 2 losses with that schedule.
Yeah,
it's a bad. I mean, it's a favorable schedule for them.
Iowa State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Maryland, Nebraska. There's 5 they could lose.
I'll tell you what. No, they could lose them all, Jim, with as bad as they are on offense. I'm just saying I don't think they will. There is one ranked team on that schedule right now. You understand that, right?
I do.
With both polls, which, by the way, have the same 25 teams in them, surprisingly. One ranked team, and it is Ohio State.
I like their schedule. That's a good graphic there, Forrester. All right, when we come back, I got one point that's starting to bring a little excitement about the college football season coming up. We'll do that before we get to trash coming up in the next segment. Again, Champy's bringing you this hour, champyschicken.com. All right, they're on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew. Got to send that picture here as well. Sterling and the entire crew there for over a decade. Same location in Alabaster. That chicken is brined overnight, cooked to order. It is absolutely delicious. A lot of you in the chat room always, anytime we mention Champy's, talk about how fantastic the food is, and it backs it up every time you're in there because Sterling cares about the quality of food so much. Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're back after a quick timeout.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Lance'sLock.com, Lance'sLock.com. Every day, Lance has plays out. Good weekend of NFL exhibition play. Back on baseball today, he'll have NFL plays coming up again when the exhibition season rolls on Thursday through the weekend. You can get all the plays at Lance'sLock.com, and it's brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or your business, they're ready to serve you since the 1950s. The name Birmingham is trusted. It's our friends at Hemphill Services, 205-229-2090, 229-2090, or just remember the name Hemphill. DB jumps in. Dion may not give another interview all year after seeing the AP poll.
You kidding me?
CBS, you are who you are.
Yes.
That's right. I'm CBS Denver.
Yeah.
Are you still CBS? CBS is who CBS is.
No, as long as there's cameras, Dion's going to be there. Trust me.
I'm with Columbia Clearinghouse. CBS.
The day he does not show up in front of a camera will be newsworthy.
Right.
Trust me.
I'm very glad I'm in Alabama and Auburn's media rooms. I will say that, though.
Yeah. Back on campus tomorrow for you,
yes,
right?
Yes. So I'll head to Tuscaloosa tomorrow, get some practice footage, and then it's defensive coaches and players. And then I'll head down to Auburn for defensive coaches, no practice window, and then a little session about the in-helmet communication.
I got to be Brown last night on the Zone. Thank you to Jeff Spiegel and the 3340 folks for hosting me last evening. One of the questions that we were doing some over and unders, and I was like, just imagine, because LT really believes that Texas A&M and Texas both could be 9-2 playing each other at the end of the year. Winner possibly going to the playoffs in that rivalry game. If you are the positive Auburn person, you think maybe Auburn could get to 9 wins this year. You would assume that happens before you get to the Iron Bowl. So there's a chance 9-2 Auburn, 9-2 Alabama. Winner going to the playoffs.
I mean, there is a chance. It's a possibility, yeah.
LSU, Oklahoma, two teams that could be 9-2, 9-2. Winner going to the playoffs, loser staying home.
Again, I've told you, I think
that's where the 12-team playoff gets really fun. Those would be just for good bowl slots in the past, but now it could be not only for maybe a spot in Atlanta, but a spot in the college football playoffs.
I've told you, I think rivalry weekend this year, it has gotten new meaning thanks to the college football playoff. I think there'll be a lot of games rivalry weekend that carry a massive playoff meaning.
That just makes it even better.
No, it does.
It's already a fun weekend, and now you have all of these implications.
It's already a fun weekend, but normally there was like 1 or 2 games that might matter. There will be many, many more that matter on rivalry weekend now.
Maverick, they got too many Bama transfers not to be ranked, talking about Florida not being ranked there. Florida. Paul, Kentucky will easily be a top 25 team by the end of the year.
Could be.
Jacob says, look at Florida's last 5 games of the year. Holy crap, we've been talking about that all summer.
It's probably the worst end of a schedule I think I have ever seen.
And there's the schedule again popping up.
Yeah, I mean, it is especially, if you were a national championship contender, this would be tough. But if you're coaching for your job and you're having to play Georgia at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, at Florida State, every one of those teams is ranked in the top 15. Every one of them.
Our bold prediction day is coming up a week from this Friday. That's our bold prediction show. So a week from this Friday. One of mine may actually involve the Florida Gators. I mentioned it last night on The Zone. I don't know if I have 3 better than this, but I think Billy Napier gets the job done this year, and I think he's at least 6-6. Birmingham Bowl possibly, but that would be a tremendous season. With that schedule.
6-6 is a tremendous season. I do not disagree. Do you think that's enough to keep him? 6-6 Birmingham Bowl?
It should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It should be. Before I unveil the picture of Sterling and Megan also is dressed as Dwight Schrute. I will tell you, our kickoff party is happening August 15th. That's this Thursday night. We're at Walk-Ons in Hoover, Stadium Trace. Walk-Ons there. All the great Walk-Ons location here in the Birmingham area, but we're back in Hoover. Come hang out with us. And we're pumped to start football season. We'll do it with some conversation and just a great way to kick off the football season by having a cold Bud Light or a wonderful cold Coca-Cola Classic, all the great food from Walk-Ons, and we'll sit there and enjoy your company and have a good time. We got T-shirts for the first 100 guests on hand and just a lot more. Some other merch will be out there for sale if you'd like to pick that up on site right there at Walk-Ons Stadium Trace. All right, Sterling and Megan at Champy's on Highway 119 who bring you this hour a decade ago almost when they opened that store. And Megan's worked with Sterling there since day one, and they went to a trivia costume party recently. It's been a while now. You'll see how much younger Sterling looks. But you got Megan first by chance dressed as Dwight Schrute? Nope, you got Sterling only? Oh, side by side. Megan on the right as Dwight Schrute. And look at Mose, Sterling to the left.
That is amazing. I mean, Sterling as Mose, Schrute is pretty remarkably spot on, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them. Excellent job.
Yeah, that's really, really good there. And Mose in the strict standing at attention fashion that Mose was known for from The Office there.
So good.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Great. I mean, it'll be here. By the way, I've already got my costume.
I do too.
Oh my God.
For the Halloween show. Yeah, I've had mine for quite a while now.
What day of the week is it on this year? Do you know? The 31st.
I will look. Let's see, Jimmy D.
I got mine ready to go.
October 31 is a Thursday. We'll have a fun Thursday dressed up.
That.
Hopefully, no coaches will get fired.
You never know.
Dressed up this year.
I've got to think of mine. Last year I felt like for my first Halloween here, I really did a good job.
Blooper? You were blooper last year, yeah.
Yeah, it was very accurate.
Yeah. Taylor's been a trophy twice, right?
She was the Heisman one time. What was the other one?
Heisman
Lombardi last year.
Lombardi and the Heisman.
Oh, okay, yeah. So she's got a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Stanley Cup this year?
I don't know. You have to wait until Thanksgiving to see.
See if she's another trophy again. All right, it is time for trash. Hit the big button, Tyler. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Mortgage Right doing all they can for you. You got it? Ready right now. Boom.
Vision Cable. Hi, watch me beat Peter McNeely on Vision Cable Vision. Great. Okay, now Comcast Cable. Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Comcast Cable Vision.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Are you reading trash, Eugene?
I am.
All right, Mortgage Right is the place to go. Whether you're buying a new home or refinancing your current home, your first stop needs to be Mortgage Right. MortgageRight.com/TNR. They are veteran-owned, veteran-operated. They got great programs for everyone in the home buying season, especially veterans. You can see more at MortgageRight.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, let's get things started. Bare naked bandit, not to be confused with Kane Womack's defense. Bare naked bandit hijacks car in Iowa and runs over owner before plowing into tree, all caught on camera.
Oh, wow. Is this you, Brown, making your upset picks on Tuesday?
Bare naked bandit. If there is a stranger that gets in my car naked, we're going to let him have it. And I'm just going to report it stolen. I'm not going to fight him for it, and my insurance is going to cover it, and I'm going to get a new car.
Oh, there's the video.
I mean, seriously, though, like if you knew random strangers naked in your front seat.
It's not worth it.
You can't unsee that. You can't unthink that.
No. Yep. So a man from Des Moines has been arrested after allegedly hitting a man with his own car while attempting to hijack the vehicle while completely naked. Tyler Johnson, and it's also not spelled Johnson like you'd imagine. It's Jonsson.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's very foreign, Johnson. Yeah. That's like Swedish Johnson.
Right. Was
spotted, by the way, Johnson, interesting nickname in this story.
Sprinting in the nude on Court Avenue in the heart of Des Moines just before 3:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. I could have guessed that time. A man who looks to be Johnson can be seen running back and forth on the streets of downtown in a video obtained by KCCI. The footage then captures him heading towards a car while women can be heard screaming in the background. The man comes to a stop at a parked black car where a man is sitting in the driver's seat with the door open. The naked man suddenly jumps over the driver and into the passenger seat while a witness yells no. The confused driver exits the car as the two appear to begin arguing as the naked man attempts to close the door. According to the Des Moines police, the driver of the vehicle only sustained minor wounds and is anticipated to recover.
I will tell you that's the most offensive thing Iowa's seen in a long time.
Hey. Offensive.
Yeah,
nice.
Thank you.
I'm a little confused on the logistics of jumping into the passenger seat. So did he get sat on, the driver?
Oh, boy, I hope not.
I don't know.
Again, if I see naked stranger get in my driver's seat, he's driving my car away. Yeah. I am not stepping in to try to stop him.
No.
The only thing I dislike about my new truck is his cloth seats.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. The leather I probably could get past with a nice little take it getting detailed.
I think insurance would cover that too.
Yeah,
so
well, it's a stolen vehicle.
I'm getting a new car.
Yeah.
You take it. He wrapped it around a tree. I'm not getting it back.
That's right. Stolen vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, now you've got him crashing naked and
well,
wrapping it around a tree?
I'm going to assume he's probably on something.
Before plowing into a tree, all caught on camera.
Oh, he did hit the
tree. Yeah, he hit a tree.
Because even if I stop him, now I've got to get him out of my car and he's naked. Yeah, not going to fight that battle right there.
No. Are any of you guys like nervous at the dentist?
Oh, always.
I actually it's weird. I don't mind the dentist so much. I am one of the few people when they do the little probe thing, I kind of like it.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where they take the little hook and kind of feels good to me.
Not for me.
Well, you could have a robot performing surgery on you.
I wouldn't like that either.
Robot dentist performs world's first fully automated procedure.
Well, you get awesome glasses, though. That's the plus.
Yeah.
I thought this was the bandit story. Him before he took his clothes off. He had the mask on.
The technology features a robotic arm along with artificial intelligence and 3D imaging for performing dental work. The U.S.-based company Perceptive says its technology aims to be more accurate and faster in completing procedures, including fillings and crowns. When it comes to my mouth and sharp tools, and crowns, and you're having to drill, and that's just
bad news.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do this. The only upside here is there's no talking.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Does the robot ask you questions at the worst time?
Yeah.
Like,
probably.
I've got 3 instruments in your mouth. So did your kids start back to school this week?
Yeah.
Chief Executive and Founder Dr. Chris Sorello said this medical breakthrough enhances precision and efficiency of dental procedures. The company's received $30 million in funding and is backed by dentist Edward Zuckerberg, the father of Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, how about that?
Interesting.
I brush my teeth a minimum of twice a day.
Same.
I would say most days, my average is 3 to 4 teeth brushings.
Yeah, I would
I brush my
say
teeth frequently.
2 to 3. 2 at the very least.
Like if I'm at home before I go somewhere, I brush
Yeah.
my teeth. Do you do that?
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Oh, yeah. Before you go out? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily going out. I mean, I could just be going to the grocery store or
I
whatever.
know, but that's going out. You're
Well,
leaving-
by going out, I thought you meant like, night
Going
on the
to dinner,
town with
yeah.
the family. So,
but leaving the house. Yes.
leaving the house, I brush my teeth.
Yeah. Like
So
before church yesterday, before the zone, and before bed 3 times yesterday.
3 times, yeah. I don't want to screw around with bad dental.
No.
Like, oof.
And that can mess up. That has all tertiary issues when you start getting teeth
you
issues.
use the big words, but it does. And like that little drill over there, when they have to start drilling in your teeth, that's awful.
All right, here are the Texas State Fair food finalists.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be good.
Already.
LT misses. LT back tomorrow, by the way.
We are already to the Texas State Fair food.
LT with a great story, I bet, from going to see Metallica in concert.
Soldier Field up in Chicago.
Soldier Field in Chicago. Great son daddy trip.
The first food finalist is the Dominican fritura dog. Combines Dominican salami, fritura chips before it's double deep fried in a corn dog batter. It's then topped with garlic plantain chips, Dominican sauce, and cilantro.
Well, I tell you, that looks awful. And I don't like cilantro.
I hate cilantro.
I am a pass on this one. I hate the
Same.
taste of cilantro.
I don't love cilantro. I don't like sriracha either. By the way.
Ooh,
don't know
I
if
like
that's
sriracha.
Yeah. There's one thing in sriracha. There's one ingredient that
you don't like?
Jumps out, and I hate it.
Really?
Does it have any fish in it at all, or anything like any anchovy or anything?
Let's go sriracha.
Yeah. But I do like that this is battered in corn dog batter. Now that interests me.
Yeah, deep fried.
But why am I going? What is it? Puerto Rican salami? Dominican salami.
I don't know. It just feels like
anchovies in sriracha.
Is there really? I did not know that.
And that jumps out at me. By the way,
Does it really?
Interesting.
You never knew that?
I never knew it was in there.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's why I
guess you
don't like
notice it.
Caesar dressing either.
Oh, I love Caesar.
I don't like Caesar either.
That jumps out at me, and I can just taste it. I'd never looked at ingredients or anything, so there is anchovies in there. How about my palate?
From the sriracha chili sauce, this is their actual label. Pickled red chili. 64% now is pickled red chili.
Yep.
And then there's other stuff. I'm trying to find the other stuff. I thought I was going to give you a long list there. I don't see. Boy, they got a lot of ingredients in this. I did not realize I was eating that many ingredients, by the way, when I was eating sriracha.
Yeah, I trust Tyler, though.
So you say there are anchovies in there for sure?
Yes, according to the Lee Kum Kee USA company that makes sriracha,
That'll do it.
has fish extract from anchovies.
Okay.
So
I mean,
there's
Dunaway,
the
that
fish.
jumped out at you. That's kind of crazy. I would not have guessed there was fish in sriracha.
I've never been on that website before. Good palate. Yeah. I'm available for parties.
Fine.
Up next is the drowning taquito. It's prepared with corn tortillas stuffed with shredded chicken that is then deep fried. Already like the sound of
All
this.
right, I'm in for that. What's in the cup here,
The
AG?
taquitos are topped with a cream sauce, jalapeno, guacamole salsa, shredded lettuce, avocado, tomatillo, pico, and cotija cheese.
Boy, that is a lot of flavors right there.
It looks hard to eat in that cup.
Yeah, it does not seem very practical. I don't mind the taquitos. I'm leave or take this. It doesn't really.
I'd eat it, but
yeah,
I'm not going to walk. I don't like it in a solo cup.
Yeah, I'm not going to walk all the way across the fair to get this.
No.
For sure.
The hippie chips take potato chip nachos and add the customer's choice of ranch or blue cheese dressing before topping. Hold on. Topping it with bacon bits, green onions, and sriracha. Customers can also add blue cheese crumbles on top if they like.
Jim, a lot of sriracha at this year's Texas State Fair. That's bad news for you.
It must be the theme. I'm going to hold the sriracha here. I'm going to make Brown happy. Probably going to throw some barbecue sauce on this.
Yeah, okay.
But here's the problem. I used to be a big nachos guy, but more and more like in a lot of things in America, we just don't do things right anymore. We don't take time. A lot of time when I get nachos now out, it's all clumped together on top.
Yeah.
And after a few chips, I'm eating plain chips at this point.
Now, those chips appear to be like Ruffles or something like that. Those are
They're
actual potato chips. Yeah, so not even, I'm not a I'm going to pass on this one, too.
I am, too. I don't like the bacon bits in there with those other flavors.
Give me something I'm going to eat here, EG.
Give me to a deep-fried Twinkie or something.
I'm trying.
I think you'll eat this next one.
Oh, Tyler? Yeah. Tyler thinks I'll eat this next one? All right, let's go.
Eat it or not.
Hot chicken pancake poppers.
Yeah.
Combine hot chicken and pimento cheese into a ball.
Yep.
Before they're dipped in pancake batter and fried. Afterward, they're covered with a drizzle of sriracha honey.
Sriracha, Jim. Sriracha honey this time, though.
What are we doing?
And a touch of hot powdered sugar.
Yeah, this year's Texas State Fair presented by Sriracha.
I could do like
half
of one of these.
I could eat that. Yeah, Tyler's
all four
right.
of them, though, I couldn't do.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd eat a ton of
All
them, but
three
I
of
could definitely sample that.
I could eat all
That's good right there. Yeah.
The last one you guys will both really enjoy. Texas fried burnt-end bombs.
Yep.
Rat brisket and shredded potatoes, bacon and cheese for deep frying the concoction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those last two.
Sriracha?
No, it's in top with a raspberry chipotle barbecue glaze. That is like round of applause.
That is the winner there.
All right, so we finished strong there, EG. I finally found something. I would walk across the fair to try both of those.
I think I would too. And the
The first
potato
thing I had,
element to that is really good. Then am I on like a time crunch
Nope,
now?
you're good.
Okay. Sprinkle pool at NYC's Museum of Ice Cream leaves visitor with permanent injuries. Okay, I have seen this.
Permanent brain freeze?
No.
Okay.
Injuries.
Could be brain freeze.
Brain freeze would be horrible.
No.
Permanent brain
Okay,
freeze will suck.
Before we get into the story, I want everyone to speculate how deep that looks.
So it's a pool of sprinkles. Is this what I'm looking at?
Yes.
Well, the gentleman that is in the yellow shirt holding his arm up, I'm going to guess is a normal height man.
No, I think they're squatting there, Brown. I'm going
You
to say
think
it's
so?
only 3.5 feet.
I think it's only 2 feet max.
Well, that's a lot of sprinkles if it's more than 2 feet. So he's probably sitting on his butt. You're right. I'll go 3 feet.
So I don't have an exact number for how deep it is, but I'll give you the story. The Museum of Ice Cream's TikTok trendy sprinkle pool is seriously lacking in filling, so much so that one visitor was left maimed after he went in for a sweet splash, she claims in a new lawsuit. The pool's poor design, inadequate and insufficient level of rainbow-colored toppings left Jeremy Shore, who visited the Soho attraction with his daughter last March, with an ankle fracture so serious that it required surgery and internal hardware installed.
So he jumps in this pool of sprinkles thinking it's deep,
Yes.
and he basically lands on his feet and breaks his ankle.
So it's very shallow. Like it's not really, I think it's inches, maybe not even a foot deep. And it's portrayed as this like whole little moment, sprinkles to the max. And if you guys look on TikTok, you can see videos of people like going like a trust fall into it, thinking all the sprinkles will come up behind them, and
they
they lose
just land
concussions.
on the ground?
Yes.
But how is that girl and that guy all the way up to their chest there? If it's
False advertising.
So that's not really.
You can lay
Photoshop.
down in it and put sprinkles on top
Yeah,
of
because
yourself.
look, there's his knee right there. See his knee?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, the guy dressed as a
peeking out.
clown standing there, I'm assuming he's on the bottom, so it shows you how deep it is, right?
So
It's a weird attraction, by the way.
it is. It's a photo op, I
Yeah.
would say.
And one
Moving-
girl looks like she's got sprinkles coming out of her head.
She does.
Lunceford actually has a picture of himself in the sprinkles
Oh, wait,
at the
let's
one in
see it.
San Francisco.
Oh, are you serious?
Okay, you got to send it to Forrester.
Yeah, Lunceford has done this, huh?
Yeah.
Lunceford did it. Was it shallow there, too?
Yes, but I thought it was going to be shallow. I
Yeah.
didn't think I was going to be like Scrooge McDuck diving in there.
Diving in a pool of coins?
Stop talking, send him the picture,
All right.
and then we'll get his comments on the other
Yeah.
side after you tell us about our friends at Mortgage Right.
Mortgage Right brings you trash every day. MortgageRight.com/TNR, veteran-owned, veteran-operated, and they are the first stop for you when it comes time to buy your new home or refinance your current home. Great programs for everyone. MortgageRight.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Yeah, I would tell you that, as Morgan says, at some point common sense should have kicked in with
Yeah.
that dude.
Yep.
That if if you're jumping in, I still don't understand how you
Well, think about like
how you break an ankle.
when
doing
you miss
that.
a step on the stairs. Like you're going out with a lot of force.
Well, you made it sound like irreparable damage, like permanent damage
He's
to
got
the
a
ankles.
metal rod in there.
Metal
Well,
rod.
that's not irreparable, though.
Or a pen or
it's going to
something.
suck the rest of your life having to do that.
Okay.
Hurts when a storm comes in. Bad going through a metal detector. Other than that, you're fine.
All right.
Might win a
Forrester will give me the
lawsuit.
thumbs up when he has the Lunceford picture there. Also, our show being brought to you today by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Brown, before you went on vacation, you went by to see Jim.
I saw Jim down at the Greystone location. My wife and I were headed to the mountains. We knew the house we rented had a nice grill. So I wanted some steak. So I went and got a couple fillets from Jim. We were making pizza. It also had a pizza oven where we were staying, so we got some ground Italian sausage from Jim to put on the pizza. Fantastic. New York Butcher Shop, Cobb Heights, Greystone, everything from the Duroc pork chops to the prime to the Wagyu. They've got it all right there in New York Butcher Shop. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Daniel makes a great point. Jumping into something that you cannot see the bottom of is very
So
unwise.
true.
Whether you're jumping off
100%.
of
So true.
anything is the way to go.
I get nervous about cliffs jumping.
Yeah, I do too. How often
You jump off
a
cliffs?
cliff?
Well, I have done it in the past.
What's the highest point you've ever jumped off of?
I mean, it was pretty high, and I was
Higher
in high
than
school.
10 feet.
Yes.
Basketball goal.
You were in Georgia? Like a
Yes,
lake in
Roswell Mill.
Higher than 15?
I don't know. I mean, it was high.
Yeah. Had someone jumped off
we do
before you?
have-
You weren't the first one.
No, that was not the first one. We do have the picture ready.
Oh, I understand
You
that.
must have
Changing the
moved
subject. Stop
I hope my parents aren't
examining me.
watching
Well, you said cliff.
Well, yeah.
Best
but-
part of that was Brown agreed before he realized what EG actually said.
No, I agree with her. I would be nervous jumping off cliffs. I just didn't know she was like, an Olympic cliff diving or something.
I would be nervous on a spacewalk, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, here is Lunceford. Oh, look at that. Lunceford doesn't even sink to the bottom. They're short.
Yeah, I mean Lunceford and Laurel are laying on the bottom.
So imagine you take like a running start into that.
I mean, it was probably, if you dug, because there's a lot in there. Also, it's very thick. You know, the whole thing when, Scrooge dives into the coins, if anything, it's just a lot of mass before you get to the bottom. There may be a deep bottom. That's the thing with this is there's just a mass of these little plastic confetti or sprinkle things. But you see my wife's foot is down there. She's probably not far from the bottom sticking her foot down there. That's how thin it is.
Yeah. Well, first off, your wife, very photogenic, by the way.
Love Laurel.
Yeah, very photogenic. 2, because of her, you do a lot of fun things in your life.
A lot more fun things than I would do without her. Yes.
No, I think that's a given.
Well, I'm just saying that.
No, it's a compliment.
If you were not married, you were still a single dude, you would never find yourself in that place at all, right?
No.
Yep.
When I went to San Francisco, I said, hey, let's go to a 49ers game. Let's go to a Sharks game. She said, let's go to the Museum of Ice Cream.
That's a great call. I mean, Maggie and I would not go to that place either. Maggie's just a different personality.
Well, I was in, they had one once in Austin. When we were out in Austin, they had the Museum of Ice Cream, but it was fairly expensive, it seemed.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was our honeymoon, so I had already spent enough money at that point.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It just adds up. I had a family of 4. I mean, it was going to cost us a good bit to go see the Museum of Ice Cream.
Nick says above your head, Lunceford, is the 4 feet mark right there. So
Which is not accurate, by the way.
Well, but it honestly may be accurate because think from 4 feet down to my head is probably
2.5.
a couple feet.
That's what you're saying,
and
yeah.
another foot down to the actual sprinkles, and then the sprinkles to the bottom is another foot.
Yeah.
So it's probably right.
So they just didn't fill it up to the 4 foot mark there is the problem. And it's saying swim. It's not saying dive into them.
Yeah.
No money for this guy.
Oh,
for
I'm
me.
sure the sign's there now.
Yeah.
After the lawsuit.
All right. When we come back, one final thought on Jim Harbaugh as the honorary captain at Michigan's opening game. Are they playing with fire in the NCAA? One more thought when we come back on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. from day one, Xerox Business Solutions. They've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Back with you on The Next Round, our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. They're your provider for all your healthcare needs, especially with athletic injuries. Maybe you're jumping into a shallow pool of sprinkles and you need the folks at Precision Sports. They'll get you back into the game. All the tweaks, the pulls, the pains, and the breaks. 205-512-3885, 512-3885. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. They'll diagnose it, they'll treat it, and they'll help you through the rehab process. And locations all over the Birmingham metro area, Jasper to Alabaster and all around. Orthopedic care, better together. Find your provider today. 205-512-3885, 512-3885. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. And we got a great event coming up very soon with our friends Boiling and Bragging. We just talked to them last week, benefiting the fine folks at Children's Hospital.
Yeah, it's coming up Saturday. Odie's, our buddies at Odie's, a big sponsor of this. Children's of Alabama, the Rotary Club. But it is Saturday, Boiling and Bragging, right there in Mountain Brook. BoilingandBragging.org is the website, the letter N, BoilingandBragging.org. You know what made me think about this again? Friday I was leaving town, and you know what I saw? I saw the helicopter coming in for a landing. And every time we have the people in here from Children's and we talk about that, you just know something's going wrong, but they're in the best hands they could possibly be in at Children's. But the only way they can keep that up is with great donations from great organizations like this. So BoilingandBragging.org for more information. It's coming up Saturday, though, right there in the heart of Mountain Brook.
Great event, great tailgate food, a great time to get out there. Boiling and Bragging happening this weekend. Much more on that throughout the week as we count down to that. It's another mile marker on the countdown to kickoff. And speaking of kickoff of college football, Jim Harbaugh will be back in Ann Arbor because, you know, there's a week gap between the start of the NFL season and college football. He'll be in Ann Arbor. He'll be the honorary captain as they honor the national championship. They'll unveil the banner of national champions, and Harbaugh will be out for the coin toss. Are they playing with fire with the NCAA bringing Harbaugh back while they still have some pending litigation with the NCAA, e.g. first?
I mean, I think so. I think that no matter the intentions behind it, the timing of it just kind of is a bit of a middle finger, I would say, to the NCAA.
Yeah, middle finger is exactly what it is.
But I think what we've learned is if you cooperate with the NCAA, they hammer you. If you don't cooperate with them, they may or may not hammer you. So I would be as uncooperative as possible. I think the NCAA has showed you that that's the way to go, is be as uncooperative with us as possible, because teams that have tried to cooperate with them and play by the rules, they just drill them. So if I'm Michigan, I thumb my nose at them at every turn, and the penalty they handed down to Harbaugh is meaningless. He's never going to coach in college again. They've made sure of that now because nobody's going to hire him and let him sit out.
I agree with that.
Full season.
Because he's got a 5-year contract as a 4-year show cause. He probably never coaches again in college, probably doesn't want to. I'm worried more about Sharon Moore and Michigan and what's left behind there. What can the NCAA do? And I personally believe the NCAA doesn't have the power anymore. If I tell you the most influential bodies in college athletics right now, they are the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten Conference. They're more powerful than the NCAA.
Well, so keep in mind who handed down the suspension for Harbaugh last year that allowed Sharon Moore to be the coach was the Big Ten, not the NCAA. Yeah. So I agree with you. If I am Michigan, I am more interested in my standing with the Big Ten because they're the ones that penalized me last year. And likewise, if I were an SEC school, it'd be with Greg Sankey in the SEC. So I thumb my nose at the NCAA. I tell them, you don't matter to us. We're not cooperating with you. We'll stonewall you at every single turn. Every single turn will stonewall you. On top of that, I think they probably know they're going to be out of the NCAA sooner rather than later.
Yeah, especially if you start, handing down bans to our name brand, flag-bearing conference members.
That's right.
Then we don't need you anymore.
Yep.
We can go on without you. Charles says, will Connor Stallions be there as the honorary cameraman?
That would be pretty
Fox?
funny, actually, yeah.
And Connor Stallions is here.
That would be pretty funny. I don't know that you rub their nose in it that much. But I would not worry. If I'm Michigan, I go on doing stuff exactly the way I would do it with or without the NCAA, right?
Yep.
And if you're doing this is the only time you can have Harbaugh there unless a bye week matches up with a game that you've got at home. So I have him right back, and I operate just like I would normally.
All right. So that does it for our show today. We're back with you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget, 12:15 today, a live version of The Pennant Grace.
We'll be chatting. We're going to call it a Braves therapy session. We'd love to have you there.
Yeah, so we got that happening a little bit later on today. And don't forget, new content up all the time. CoverCrimson.com, CoverCrimson.com, TheBarnAuburn.com, TheBarnAuburn.com. New information, new intel, Q&As going on over there all the time. If you're an Auburn, Alabama fan, just try it out. $1 gives you a start to see if you fall in love with Cover Crimson and The Barn, our new platforms at thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com. God bless you. God bless America.